Peace to each. All right. Peace, S. Maurice. San Pablo, Sala. Kobe, what's up? Cat Dizzle, Sister Bella. Hope y'all didn't count out a fella. Beats by DPZ. Smash that like, thank you. Sister Julie, peace and blessings. Big Lisa Mani, hit the like. And y'all decide what we're gonna do tonight. First, should we do weird scenes inside different strokes first? Or should we just go exploring down the rabbit hole first? Which one would y'all like to do first? First come, first serve basis. Cat Dizzle, peace and blessings. My name is TT. Peace and blessings. Brother James, peace. Bridget Nesbitt, peace. Dinah, shalom. Grateful Temple, blessings to you. Prince Trill. What's going on? Big Nephew Ronell, feeling like the ceiling. Blessed and highly flavored. Rabbit hole? Y'all want to start like that? Okay, well, let's do that. Hold on. Let's see if anyone else is going to chime in here. San Pablo's in capitals. That means he's hollering. Pick up where left off at different strokes. Katina says, I'm glad you're here. Well, so am I. I'm glad to be here. Glad to be seen. Glad to be seen and not viewed. Amen. As Maurice, as a matter of fact, as Maurice asked me, did I have a chance to catch the dream on Drink Champs? I watched just about all of that. I was enthralled. I thank you, Brother S. Maurice, for sending me that piece. I could chop all sorts of pieces up from that interview and use in the next Songwriter Secret documentary. Thank you, brother. Thank you. And for anyone else who may be interested, especially the Songwriter Secret students here, Brother S. Maurice had turned me on to an interview of The Dream, the R&B writer, singer, producer. And it was from Drink Champs, which is a show, a podcast that I keep up with, because they oftentimes will have artists on there in an environment or in a vibe where they may tell some things. And so I'm always listening for that. But I haven't heard very many real secrets. A couple of times folks was on there who said things that we hadn't heard before. But The Dream, he talked about songwriting in a way that really validates what we do in Songwriter Secret. Didn't he say he enjoys the fact that he can be, no, he said that his wife has a problem keeping up with his many different personalities. Sometimes he could wake up, he'd be Celine Dion. One day he might wake up, he's Rihanna. Another day he wake up, he's Beyonce. Didn't he name 3 females, S. Maurice? Oh, anyway. Hey, Sister Eleanor. Yeah, I saw that one, Big Nephew. He said last one, Big Nephew Ronell said last one he saw was with LL Cool J. Yeah, I saw that. I enjoyed it too. Sister Natasha Lobb is in the place. Peace and blessings to you. Sister Eleanor. Yeah, right. Yeah, right. It's done with a rapper from the late 90s, early 2000s called Nori. His biggest song was probably Super Thug. But he's, like a lot of the middle-aged rappers, trying to find a way to take their fan base and create a new opportunity for themselves, or a new situation for themselves, like people like to say. So yes, I did enjoy watching that. But now let us get to the matter at hand. Let's see. Brother Ruben is in the place. Peace and blessings to you. Peace, Sister Estelle H. in the place. Sister Lorraine. Sister Tamara C. says, hey, brother, I'm on the road and I get a notification you're live. Hey, peace and blessings to you and everyone in the chat. Well, now, isn't that something? Well, we hope to give you something interesting to listen to and chime in on when you can. Safely now. Y'all be safe, and may the Lord bind his traveling mercies to you, and safe travels to you. Peace to you, Shamillions, and Grateful Temple peace. And yes, anybody who has sent me an email, also, there's some interesting emails in there. I haven't gotten to them yet. I look forward to reading them and giving you my reply. So please, please forgive me that I have not gotten to those yet. And I thank you. I thank you. So now, the family is all here. I got one response or one vote that I caught anyway. To just do our general go down the rabbit hole like we did last week. I've got some interesting videos that I'd like for us to look at. But I can't lie. I can't wait to get back into Diff'rent Strokes. I can't lie. If I was to choose, I would say let's start with Diff'rent Strokes. Because I can't wait. I got something for you. Ooh, Scooter. You ain't going to believe it. You ain't going to believe it. Okay? Well, and I plan to spend a nice long time with y'all tonight. If you don't mind. At some point, we're going to have to take a break, though. Got some food in the oven. Need some tending to and some loving. And so we will take a break. A short break. Just for me to pull that out. Okay? So now, what y'all say? Let me see here. Shaw Million says, finally made it. Glad you're doing another video on this show. Sad what they did to them kids. They all never been the same. You have to do good times. You know, I said to myself, I want to go ahead and do one that I'm very, very familiar with. And I'm leaning toward either good times, what's happening, which for some reason I feel like we'll find a different type of thing on what's happening, like what we finding now for some reason. And then Sanford and Son, which if I could pick, that would be my pick. Because I'm very well versed at Sanford and Son. Some of you may know. I know I do a great job for you. I wouldn't miss nothing. Okay? All right, Sister Betty, ready? Okay, Sister Betty says she's ready. Let's see. Diff'rent Strokes. Folks say Diff'rent Strokes. Diff'rent Strokes. Brother Ruben said Diff'rent Strokes hurt my heart, bro. You know, mine too, because, you know, at the end of the day, especially once we take all of the fantasy and nostalgia away, that was a sad tale. So let's go back into that. And I promise we're going to have a good time going down the rabbit hole in general afterward. And I also am going to get to Sister Rebecca Brown tonight. Okay? I intend to do that. And we're going to cap off the night with the reading of After the Dance, the story of Marvin and Janice. Marvin Gaye's second wife, who is the mother of Janice Gaye, who is the mother of Nona Gaye, who we can look at that entire situation and see all sorts of things related to the Hermetic theater that we began speaking of last week when we went down the rabbit hole. I wanted to show and prove about the Hermetic theater. Now, what we're going to watch tonight as we break Diff'rent Strokes down some more is you're going to see further evidence of this Hermetic theater, not to mention the things we normally see: predictive programming, subliminal messaging, subliminal insertions of signs and symbols that would cause doublethink to the viewer, laugh track, it was a live audience, applause sign manipulation to make sure that certain thoughts and ideas that a person wouldn't normally laugh at or that a person would pause concerning, you wouldn't be given any cause to pause because you're too busy laughing. So we're going to have a ball, y'all. So I'm going to jump right in. Sister Dinah said, I'm writing two research papers as I listen. Will help take away the boredom of getting these papers done. Amen. Sister Lorraine said, all are good choices. Grateful Temple says, my best friend Art, he is a Christian, not in the chat, but I invited him. I just mentioned how 19-year-olds were in the word. Oh, excuse me. I just mentioned how 19-year-olds were in the word. Grateful. Amen. I'm grateful as well. I hope he does join. S. Kane says, man, finding something on Good Times might break my heart. That was my show, says S. Kane. Well, I mean, there's something on all of them. Good Times was under the same production company as Diff'rent Strokes. So now if y'all want to do Good Times, we can all get disappointed together. Because I've never examined it like that because I already kind of knew back when we were first going through the The reawakening stage and the pro-black era returned with a vengeance as the conscious rap era. During that period of time, there were people who was writing about good times and talking about good times. I would always want to read what black psychologists had to say for some reason. And they were all pointing fingers at the obvious things that make good times a problem. Like people have pointed fingers at the obvious things that make different strokes a problem. We're going to go down the rabbit hole tonight. So let us move on. Sounds like a good time to y'all. Good. Okay. Big niece of mine say different strokes, so that's what I'm gonna listen to. All right, y'all ready? And yes, good times. Y'all want to do good times next time around? We shall. Sister April Johnson says good times pushed the feminist agenda big time. Yes, it did. And with all of those shows, they were all about the changing America. All of these shows, sitcoms, you know, I think most of us have learned to understand that to call a television show a program is something with more meanings than the average bear would think. You know, we've heard that. You know, there's a program director at your radio station, but we separate that type of program from welfare program, right? And from government program. We don't think about those things. Like we separate the projects where you live from science projects, right? Though perhaps we should not make the separations that we do. So, without further ado, let's jump on into it. As Marie says, what about the Cosby Show or Diff'rent World? I would like to do, well, you know, with so many shows out there, I mean, I guess we would need to maybe look at a few at one time, because I could do different strokes 4 or 5 more times. But I think after we do it tonight, we are going to move on to another. Okay, so I'll let you guys get together, figure out what you think should be best. And perhaps by the time this broadcast is over, we'll come up with what that will be. If we're going to start with the old school or the older school, the old school being Cosby and Diff'rent Strokes, or the older school being Good Times, What's Happening, Sanford and Son, which is my preference is always to look at the older. Why do I tell y'all I prefer to look at the older? I want to see the old version of Rosemary's Baby. I want to see the old version of RoboCop. I want to hear the old school music, see if the Illuminati's in that. Why is that a thing with me? Am I just weird? We do it. Hold on. Excellent. Okay, Sister Bella says, Spiritual Warrior says, I learned the facts of life by watching the facts of life. Many of us were educated in things that our parents should have had first crack at because we were watching the programs. These programs are giving you the ways to think and talk and act for the New World Order. After the 70s, well, the confusion of the 60s, and then the anger and the rage of the late 60s to the 70s. And okay, so then after that, the civil rights concessions, quote unquote, that are made to end segregation as we knew it, and now there's integration. So busing is a big theme. I didn't know what busing was. This show came out in '78, but it's at least one show. I know there's one show called The Bus that I have, but busing is discussed on Good Times. Busing is discussed on on Diff'rent Strokes. It's discussed on those older shows because again, these were things that were helping to, or rather, the shows were to give the ideals that the powers that should not be wanted to give the masses concerning how to move forward in the 80s. The 80s were new. The 70s was ending. The 80s appeared to have this new sci-fi edge on it. Okay, and it appeared to be more me-centered, whereas the 70s was more about us. Let us get together. Socialism, the social and politically conscious individual that was common in the 70s now became more scarce in the 80s. Okay, and in each one of those shows we find programming toward that effect. To that effect. Super Peach say, please do 227 in Webster. Peace, Super Peach. Webster would be too much like doing Diff'rent Strokes. 227 might be interesting because Regina King did go on to become a really big star, right? And Marla Gibbs is from Detroit. So yeah, a sitcom, situation comedy. You know, they put a situation out there for you. So they're showing you in life situations how they want you to respond. 77 people, 47 thumbs up. I can get 30 more out of y'all, please. Please hit the like button. Okay, so now, let me see here. S. Kane said, I saw 227 yesterday. Vinette Glau, peace and blessings to you. LB, I believe I spoke. If not, peace and blessings to you. Chick P, glad you made it. All right, Jane Smith says, our eyes wasn't open for the old school. They could have shown us anything, and it would have went over our head. Thank you for answering my question. That's why we look at the old school. The older, the better. Because if it was there then, you can only imagine they came up with advanced ways to slip it past you later on. So you better see what the original program was. Okay, so now, without further ado, let us begin. Now, the episode that I would like for us to highlight today, by the way, is called Burial Ground. Now, the last, which was our first one, our first Diff'rent Strokes expose, the episode that we watched was called The Ancestors, not Roots. Now, Roots, I do believe, I know I checked yesterday. So much happened yesterday. I'm sorry I couldn't make it. Didn't get in time. I didn't want to come on at 2:30 a.m. But the episode Roots, it's worth a watch. It's worth a watch. But the episode that we actually watched and broke down, where it showed that the Drummonds' fortune is somehow tied to the slave trade. But, you know, that's us reading between the lines. But it showed that Philip Drummond's ancestor, Heinrich, Uncle Heine, they called him, Heinrich, right? Like all of the famous Heinrichs that could have been connected to. Heinrich Himmler, Nazi Germany. But that episode was called The Ancestors. And that was season 3. Now I'm going to take you into season 4 for this one. This is the episode that we're going to watch. It's called Burial Ground. And I'm going to point out a couple of interesting things throughout that episode. But more importantly, I have a lot of still shots from season 4 that relate. I can't wait. Okay, Diff'rent Strokes, Ancestors. Excuse me. We watched the answer. The Burial Ground. Now, okay. So now, all right. Arnold and Willis learned that Drummond's company may threaten an Indian burial ground. Now, they have the episode. We can watch the episode and point out some things as we watch. Okay, they got it on. Okay, I know it's on YouTube. Yeah, I did check that. I checked that already. We're buffering kind of slow here. Let's move it. All right. So he was looking for burial ground. Now, as long as it's on here, we can watch it. Shouldn't be any problems. They got on me because The Ancestors is not on here. Okay? And that's interesting. There's a Diff'rent Strokes channel. The Ancestors is not on here. I don't know. All right, so let's go. Wait a minute. Okay. All right, here we go. Right, we're just beginning. For those who are just now joining in, 19 minutes in. Okay, Now, once we get the premise, I just want to point out some key things because you're going to notice the same things that I did, I'm sure. And plus we're suffering buffering, which wasn't happening last time. Let me close some things here. Now in this episode, excuse me, you're going to see further evidence that Mr. Drummond's attitude toward non-white people was in need of adjustment. Now, the narrative on the show is that, well, certainly it was, and the boys helped helped him to see things more clearly. The boys coming from another demographic altogether, and his daughter being young. Now, and of course, he was an elder, or he was an older man who had older ideas, and so of course, why wouldn't we expect for him to have a certain attitude concerning non-whites, or to be out of touch? Okay, now, but one thing that we pointed out on the last show that I really want to show again on this show is that within the show, somebody sees it already. Now, this is when you pop in your video of the 4th season. You see this pyramid structure here. You see Arnold's position. You see Mr. Drummond's position. But now, the interesting thing is, all throughout the show, you will see further evidence that the real pyramid is here. And there is a Horus, Osiris, Isis theme that carries on throughout the shows. Now, and the Hermetic theater, the Hermetic theme of the show is sick. It's so, there's so much duality on the show. I told you in one show, Willis is the prom queen. He becomes prom queen. Okay, Arnold is the little one, but arguably, in a lot of situations, he seems to have the most sense. Okay, the positioning of a boy who was only 3 years younger than the one playing his older brother, as almost a baby boy for a long period of time. He became a man-child. He grew into a man-child. He was a man-child by the time we saw him on Arsenio Hall talking about dating and things of that nature. You still looked at him like this child, not simply because of his stature, but because of the way that he spoke, the things that was on his mind. The boy's growth was stunted beyond just physically. It was spiritually stunted. I know that because I saw him talking on one of those psychic shows where he basically was buying into the whole idea of the psychic. And you can imagine, nobody taught him about the Lord or the Bible or anything like that, like normal kids his age, because when all of that would have been happening or taking some root in him, he's learning the ways of Hollywood. So there you have another duality. You have a boy or a child adult. And it's one of the reasons why that the ritual thing is done on children, on set, on the show, in order to create that split. There was evidence of the Hermetic theater causing a Janus mind split in each one of the children especially. Amen. Now, and yes, it goes without saying, the racial, not just implications, but the things that the show was trying to program us with concerning race, the ideas that the show was giving us concerning race, it was really reinforcing some old ideas, right? Of the white totalitarian, Republican-minded, this authoritative personality being the head of things. But it also showed you that that's the personality that it takes to be a man of means in this world, right? So he was the man of means. And the glaring difference, whenever he would get in a situation with the police or something like that, or somebody somebody from outside the house would come in the house and say, these are my boys, everybody looked at him weird. Certainly, of course. Because, and at the time too, the mixed family was not as popular as it is today. Now, we can feel how we want to feel about different things, but it's interesting that the New World Order is about a forced blending. You know, how is that harmony? Harmony is not forced. Unless we talk about Mary J. Blige or something like that. But in general, struggle voices aside, harmony is not a thing that's forced. So now, amen. So it's interesting. Okay, so they're gonna make us suffer this buffering. Okay, that's cool. All right. Well, while it's doing that, let's look at a couple of things now with Todd Bridges and with Afeni Shakur. I saw a similarity. I see them both as mothers who gave their sons over to a program. Interestingly enough, Todd Bridges and Tupac have something in common beside their names starting with a T. And I even wonder about Tootie, Kim Fields. Did Chip Fields give her up? You know, done. Okay, hold on. Okay, well let's look at some pictures here. While we're waiting for that to queue up. Okay, now the last time too we looked at the constant use of gold and blue. We saw the color coding also. I believe I pointed it out last time. If not, we're going to point it out again here. Peace, Kekakon. The girls will often have to wear a color combination of pink and blue. Why? Pink represents feminine, blue, masculine. It's all about duality. Project Janus, Gemini, the twins, one being male, the other being female, the double-minded man, unstable in all their ways. Now, here we see it again. See it with Kimberly. She's got now it could be the pink and blue, or it can be the red and blue, the duality of the two lodges or the two pillars, right? Jacqueline and Boaz. Night or moon and sun. Then he too, red and blue, the combination colors here. Red and blue and green. Again, opposite ends of the color spectrum, red and green and blue. So the combination of those colors, they believe that it does something to the mind, akin to casting a spell on those who look at you, as well as on those who are wearing the colors. David Icke would always wear this particular color, blue. As a matter of fact, I believe I saw David Icke in the same tracksuit that Mr. Drummond has on right there. And his explanation of it, as was found here, said David Icke would only wear that blue. Where was it at? It said, yes, all right. So David Icke said this was from GrahamHancock.com forum. Okay, when David Icke said the universe is turquoise. In 1991, David Icke said color was a wavelength of frequency vibrating energy. The reason he wore turquoise was because he believed this color was the color of the universe. He had the media doubled over in hysterics probably. Now he would always wear this turquoise or this light form of blue. Now, again, the most obvious thing here, if you type in, as far as the blue and gold, a lot of folks had questions on the blue and gold last time. Let's look at Masonic blue and gold. Okay. Yeah, that's the oven. Lord have mercy. Okay, let me go cut this oven off. And I hate that it's buffering like this. But certainly, important colors in Freemasonry. Now, you want to ask why? Let's get it from them. Let's get it from their own site. But there is the blue and gold. Okay. Here you can see blue and gold or yellow then became the colors of choice for shields, banners, and livery. But now let's go here to what I saw them say themselves on their own website. If I can get this to go. Goodbye. I'll get rid of this beat. Okay, how do I get out of here? Lord have mercy. I'm trying to get out of this thing here where I got the Dwight's beat at, and it's not letting me out. It's crazy. So I could read from their own website. But, yeah, from their own website. You're right. That's the bottom line. But they give a long, drawn-out explanation as to why the blue and why the gold. They relate the blue back to the ephods that the high priest would wear, and the importance of blue to the Israelites. The flag, the so-called flag of Israel, is that blue color, and the gold, which I overstood what that was. That's the Masonic alchemy. The turning man from human to God is the alchemy that they desire. Most people will think that when they speak of alchemy, their desired alchemy, you would think, is to turn base metals to gold. But when you're a part of the brotherhood, you don't have to make gold appear from out of nowhere. They did that with the Federal Reserve just fine. You can create your own system of money, or you can change the system of money, and you can make sure that all of your buddies and their children are all well taken care of in that system. So you don't need the magic. The magic is their ability to stay unified despite them being such scurrilous and hubris men. Good evening, Miss Ravenwood. Right, after the dance come up last. Amen. K-la-la, peace and blessings. She says, I'm late and a little lost. Okay, we were just talking about the color codes of blue and gold, which are the most common ones found in the show. And I was also trying to, thank you, trying to get rid of this beat, and I was going to give it to you straight from them. Okay, explain blue and gold playing in the best. Okay, here we go. All right, the blue and gold. It says, blue and gold. We see the colors blue and gold repeatedly used together throughout nature, in the scriptures, and in the process of learning why blue is a sacred color. Okay, Masonic blue paraphernalia. This is the important one here. Let's jump down to the blue and gold. Okay, we see the colors blue and gold repeatedly in Masonic paraphernalia, such as gold Masonic rings, with the ring's face or background being blue. We see Masonic blue on a Masonic lapel pin, most Masonic cufflinks, Masonic gifts, and the overwhelming majority of Masonic jewelry, not to mention upon Masonic aprons and other Masonic supplies. Is there one single definition or one single definitive answer as to why Freemason's primary color is called Masonic blue? And they go all through the blue in Israel, sacred blue, the Tekelet, perfection, blue signifying deity. Now, this is from a Masonic site. As a matter of fact, I believe it was called, it was like a Masonic, I forget the name of it, but it's in one of their official sites. Then they show you all of the different cultures that exalted blue. Chinese, Hindu, then they talked about in Jacob's Ladder, the Druids, blue in nature, peace and eternity. The color blue has long been held to signify eternity and immortality. That's the key. See? I might have missed somebody. I'm sorry. Okay, let me see what folks are saying. Grateful Temple say, didn't we all color blue skies with golden suns as our first drawings programmed? Perhaps. Hold on a second. would say that we make those drawings. We make those drawings because, as children, that's what we see. But I also know that the devil does not create anything, and everything that he does in all of his tricks and forms of manipulation are all things from the natural realm that he's tried to distort for his own purposes. So the water is blue to a child. The sky looks yellow to a child. That's fine. But I think for them to use that is their attempt to solidify the devil as the prince of this world from the bottom to the top, right? From the sea all the way up to the sky, to the sun, from the bottom of the ocean to the sun. So now, okay, so the episode that I wanted to show y'all, it don't seem like it's loading up here at all, which is odd, very odd. So I'm going to show you some of the pictures that I have from it, and we'll deal with that. So I really wanted to show y'all this one thing, and I wanted to look at the Van Drummonds episode. Maybe that'll serve us better. Maybe it's YouTube. Maybe YouTube is tripping. So let's look at the Van Drummonds episode if we can. It's right here on Daily Motion. Let's try that. And I still got what I got for you, regardless. And why? Why the Van Drummonds episode? As I stated before, perhaps I need to state it some more. There's an episode called The Van Drummonds, which is season 6, episode 6. 66 for the watchers. You know, those of the fallen whose job was to watch. And 66 for the Qiploth. It's big in witchcraft. But the bottom line is it's duality. It's really duality 4 times. 3, 3, 3, and 3. Or 33 twice. So the importance of, again, the 33rd degree is the degree where you are told, unlike what we just saw in that explanation of why they use blue and gold, which was from a Mason, you know, you're really told the truth. When you hit the 33rd degree, you're unfrozen. 32 degrees and below, you're frozen. You really don't know what's up. When you receive the fire or the light of Lucifer, Lucifer is also a name for a single wooden match. When you receive that fire or that light, you then thaw out. You're then thawed out. And then you're no longer frozen. You can really move. You can make moves when you're frozen or frozen in position. You can't really go very far. So they unfreeze you once they're 33 degrees you. Let's see what's going on here. I'm sorry, I missed a lot of stuff. Shatra Pollard said, that's right, lower level Freemasons don't know what the top is doing. Right, and the right hand does not know what the left hand is doing, and they can advance by keeping that system that way. But now, the bottom line, a show like the Van Drummonds show, episode 6, season 6, whatever, where Dana Plato is dressed as a boy cousin, and where Bonar Bane, the twin brother of Conrad Bane, is playing an aunt. You have a male dressed as a female. You have a female dressed as a male. You have one of the twins. The perfect thing, you know, when they're trying to show their reverence to this Hermetic idea, the perfect thing is to have one boy, one female, one male, one female twin. This is one reason why Jada and Willow are so jammed up and so indoctrinated inside of that system. When we do our normal or our random rabbit hole search, I'd like for y'all to see the little interview he just dropped on Revolt TV, like a minute long. He's got him an alter ego. He said, hey, don't let Beyonce get all the shine. Sasha's hers. His was called Sire. Sire is mine. And he said, first, you have to get to know Sire. All throughout my new album, I'm introducing you guys to Sire. This is what he said. This was one of the twins They used to look like Wile E. Kid and Wile E. Cat to me when they was young. But one of the kids, one of the twins of one of Hollywood's most powerful black couples that we not only believe to be boule operatives or controlled opposition because they always want to try to jump up and act like they're for the people and blah, 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 or when there's an issue, Jada always got something to say, okay? But beyond being boule, they're tied into Scientology. They have donated to and helped build Scientology schools, and their children are all involved and enthralled with that mess. It is because they, in the Hermetic play, inserted their children. The male is named after the female. The female is named after the male. Do you see how the switcheroo is big? Big Niecy, Monty, you wasn't supposed to catch that. So you see the switching and the changing around of the gender positions on the show Roots, on the Roots one. They really went in on Arnold and Willis's kin. On the show that actually is called Roots, the one I was referring to as Roots was called The Ancestors. So you see how I could have mixed that up. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. But on the show that is called Roots, the program is to, again, it's Hegelian like a mug. Willis's buddy comes over there from Harlem. I think a couple of his buddies. Yeah, a couple of his buddies come from Harlem. They happen to have on dashikis. Now, the other times these same two boys have come over to the house, they didn't have on no dashikis. Peep the programming. How do I know that? Because I got 4 seasons. So I could see back to back to back to back what other people had to wait to the next week to see. And then you have anticipation and all these other false feelings going on in your head and in your mind to where you wouldn't pay attention to what happened last week. I'm going to show you one of those things so hard, so hardcore. So hardcore. But, so Willis's buddies come over, right? They're fronting off Willis. They're like, they made Willis's dialogue a little extra tightish and his delivery a little extra whitish. Not like it normally was on the show, normally. So that his friends could say this to him. Peep how Hegelian he is. So his friends could say, "Hey, Willis, man, you been up here in this white man's house. You ain't got no soul no more, man." Okay, now this is Hegelian. So where do you think it's going? What do Willis and Arnold do? Naturally, what do? Oh, they go and get immersed in a caricature of Afrocentricity. They get immersed in a caricature of Afrocentricity. They come back and, Arnold's dressed like a Black Panther. He got the shades on, and Willis got on his dashiki, blah, blah, blah. And they banging drums while Kimberly's trying to do her ballet dances. Boys, don't you want your sister to be able to do a good job at the ballet recital? And keep it down, son? Yeah, Dad, but this is our music, and it's our heritage. Yeah. So you see how, come on now. But as children, we didn't understand it. All we knew was at the end of the day, we wanted the boys and Mr. Drummond to be back cool and be back tight. And we looked at those 2 boys who came over there from Harlem as rebel rousers. You guys started some stuff in this family house. But it was all wrong. The boys got all type of African artifacts in their room. Let's see, do they have that? See, again, it don't matter which one we pick because it just looked like right now we're in buffer mode. Let's try the iPad. Let's try the iPad. But I really want folks to see, on your own time, whatever. Now here they say season 6, episode 9. When you look it up online, it says the Van Drummonds episode is 6/6. But if it was 6 and 9, come on, y'all. Let's see. Just show and prove again, because I know I saw it right. It's 6 and 6. It says season 6, episode 6. Right there. Season 6, episode 6. So that's quite a coincidence. Right? Folks is buffering bad and everything. Mm. Queen of Hebrews says this is so very insightful, and you can imagine my surprise. You know, as I told the folks who were here for the last one, and I'm about to drop something on y'all. You know, you can imagine my surprise. I was just watching it out of leisure. Honestly, I was trying to get a slice of nostalgia. So, you know, oh, I ain't seen this in a long time. It came up on the first seasons 1 and 2. And I watched them. And I started to getting some of this what I'm giving y'all now. Then I had to order 3 and 4. And baby, I'm trying to tell you. Okay, well, since that's not going to queue up, one monkey don't stop no show. I'm trying to tell you, I got some pictures for you. Okay, so now, in the episode, and I am skipping around here a bit. My apologies. Again, my plan was to show you an episode that was going to break in the midst of it, and I was going to talk about it. But now and at 10 o'clock, I am going to take a break. I have to take a break to see about this food. But now Candy said, I have to go now. I have to get up at 4 a.m. to go to work. I wish I could stay here with y'all. Love everybody. I'll watch tomorrow. Amen. Stay with today. Unplug them. Or you mean stay with Sunday night? What happened? Sister Lona says, do I know what? What happened? Enigma, peace. From Canada, peace. Okay, I'm just trying to make sure everything is okay. Everybody cool? All right. Okay, good night to you. Rest well. Rest well and good night to you. Okay, let's see. Okay. Nikisha Moore says, people been talking about net neutrality. I haven't been able to watch YouTube on my laptop without buffering problems for a year now. Well, what I can tell you that I know is different, as a person that's been looking up stuff online since I probably first got turned on to being online for real in about 2000, 2001. I've been looking up things online and searching down things for about 16 years online. And I declare, there are things I used to could find with ease. Can't find them no more. Things are changing. Things are changing drastically, indeed, because of things like this. This is not what this forum is meant for. Is not what we're doing tonight. You know, so yes, there's going to be a drastic change in how the internet is done. Expect for folks to have to pay for things that they got you used to having for free. It's an old dope man philosophy. Get a dope away, get some people hooked. Now they willing to pay. So, let's see. Yep, it is changing fast. They are hiding things. Dr. Dave's pinball restorations. Interesting. Right on. Amen. Just like a drug dealer. That's right. Right on, Kalala. Okay. And yeah, and it is odd. Now, we've watched this. We watched it together now for week after week after week. We've never had a problem watching a video, right? Having a problem tonight. Incidentally, or coincidentally, you know, on the heels of me getting the fastest copyright strike I've ever seen in life. But we don't get that no more life. So yes, okay, so now we're up, so folks that may be lost, should not be, but folks that may be lost, again, we're looking at the Hermetic theater that is presented before us in television and movies, but we don't recognize it as such. We hear the laugh track, or we hear the studio audience who's being cued by an applause sign. We hear them responding, and we think we should respond. How many times have you done that? You have done it. You have watched Good Times, especially Good Times audience has got to be the livest. Right there with Fred. And you know what they may have done, y'all? Because, again, we had the same production company behind, I believe, all of the ones that I just mentioned. And I'm sure they use the same audience. Notice how the same people laughing sometimes. So again, we're looking at it through Game Goofy Goober's eyes, and we're thinking that it's all for entertainment. Now, some people nowadays have come to the realization that no, it's not all for entertainment. It's also to shape your worldview or to shape your philosophy or to cause you to lose your inhibitions or to soften your morality. That's only one level. It's also a ritual done live before the people. A ritual sacrifice. And just like the folks who would be in the groves somewhere or in the darkness of a cave somewhere, we are the onlookers. We're watching. But they figured out ways to disguise it to where it does not look like a ritual to us. Yet, when the Brotherhood members who are watching the same show that we're watching watch the show, they are seeing symbols and signs for the conscious mind that show them that, oh yes, this too is a part of the ritual. It gives you further confidence that you're down with the winning team. Hey, we got control of everything. Okay? Now, interesting also, the Van Drummonds, air date, that's a cusp, November 19th. That's the end of Scorpio, the beginning of Sagittarius in their belief system. Now, oftentimes, too, I remember Brother Joe had pointed out, we were looking at somebody's IMDb. I forget whose it was now. But if you looked at all the titles of the movies that they had been in, all of the titles of the movies told a story because their entire career was a Hermetic play. It was a play. It was theater. Much like people are seeing Jim Carrey go through to a degree, much like it, but not exactly, because I also don't trust Jim Carrey, because right before this transition that he's going through in front of everyone's eyes that's going to help other people to make the same transition into nothingness or into, I am no one, to open yourself up for something to come and give you a personality because you have no personality. Before he started making that transition, the news that came down to me was that he had became head of a satanic church out there. Then all of a sudden, bam, I start seeing these interviews showing him wilding out, or what you perceive as wilding out. He is a powerful magician, adept at forms of mind control that you and I don't have very much exposure to. He allowed for himself, again, part of the Hermetic thing. We talked about it last time too. Jim Carrey emptied himself of himself so that he could fill himself with Andy Kaufman. But here's the problem. Andy Kaufman is dead as a doorknob. So he could not fill himself with Andy Kaufman. And because Jim Carrey is an intelligent man, I believe he figured that out. I believe he figured out that, well, what's in me is not Andy Kaufman. What's in me is what was in Andy Kaufman to cause him to act the way he was acting. So it's not us. It's not Andy Kaufman that the people love. It's not Jim Carrey that the people love. It's the spirit that we can act like. So everybody's looking for a new version of the same spirit. Where is the new Tupac? Who's going to be the next this? Where's the next that? You want the next Luther. You want the next Denzel. No, you want the next person because that person is old. Aretha Franklin, that body, they threw with that. That voice, not even where it once was. So they're ready to show you. We didn't like you in the first place, baby. They used and abused your body, which is part of what they do in this party. But at the end of the day, it was the spirit. That sassy, bossy, side-eyeing spirit that Miss Riri had. Has. Let's not talk about it like that now. So I got to live here. I want to pull it up on me. Say, you unplug them? With a snicker in her hand. Okay. Inside out the lava. Peace and blessings to you. Amen. I received that from Grand Rapids. Chickpea say Oprah talked about emptying herself to play her character in Beloved. Right on. James Smith say MJ. Mike Jackson, Mike Jordan, the M and the J, 10 and the 13, the 23, the Mystic number 23, one of the movies that Jim Carrey changed our perception of him with. We began to see him as a person having perhaps a bit of depth. And 23, is when you divide the two numbers that comprise 23, you can get 0.666. So that's one reason why they use that. A coded way to use 666 without letting everybody see that it's 666. And here you see another saying that it's season 6, episode 6. So what they have on Daily Motion is wrong, or some sort of throw off to a degree, because it still says season 6, episode 9 on Daily Motion. Now y'all can watch those, and that's how we'll keep from having a copyright strike. How about that? What the devil mean for bad, God turn around for good. That's how I am. So let's get into these pictures. They can't stop these pictures I got. They can't stop these pictures I have. I have some interesting pictures for you all. I have to remember, act like I got some home training too. I've become too comfortable with y'all. I'm going to get on my Theodore thing. That's what I'm going to do. Yeah, I'm going to get on my Theodore thing. You can't call me uncle. None of that. No, you got to call me Brother Theodore. And pronounce all the letters. Don't do like my grandma did. That all? Okay, okay. Let's see what folks is at. All right. Y'all ready? Okay, now. Here again, the two girls. This is in the episode. This is the episode. This is when Willis is trying to get some from Janet. And he goes and tells his dad, Mr. Drummond. Mr. Drummond gives him the most the advice that he gave him. I didn't record the advice that he gave him, and I don't recall what it was verbatim, but all in all, he basically was like, oh, well, it'll happen someday for you, Willis. He wasn't like, well, Willis, you should worry about maybe getting her pregnant, or, perhaps you want to see about prophylactics or blah, blah, blah. Or, well, Willis, you should wait until you're married. How serious are you with this Charlene character? None of that. Right? Hey, little Sister Tanya, The Place to Stay. I believe it was called, I'm looking now. Wasn't Big Man on Campus. I forget what it was called. But anyhow, here you see the color coding again. Pink and blue. Pink and blue. Did they get together? Did Kim Fields and Dana Plato get together? Or is Wardrobe doing this? And since I believe... Oh, no, it's Lamb, my man. And as a matter of fact, I am. But I believe that Wardrobe was being instructed, or Wardrobe was inducted into the order. And, somebody was telling them to be sure and give them these color combinations. Again, pink for male, pink for female, blue for male, blended together. What do you get? That's the perfection of man that they talk about alchemically. They believe that the perfected man is like God, their God being one who is neither confined to being male or female. And you yourself have reached a level of godhood status. Shaq believes it. You see him probably showing his brotherhood ring. And he told Proof. Proof told somebody we know. It's my understanding that Shaq was into that. And that's why. But no, the explanation came from Shaq. To my meetings, when I was having meetings in the basement, I was super pagan. Dr. York Jr. down there. Yeah. One of the folks affiliated with Proof, very close to him, relayed that information. And I always thought about that. I always wondered about that. All this was before the net was popping. You hadn't seen Shaq in no dress. You hadn't seen him saying doing nothing wrong. You hadn't seen no G on his ring. Word of mouth counts for something. But anyhow, because when all this is over, you better have some connections out here. You better know how to talk to people, meet people, get off the porch. So yeah, so here is further evidence of this duality, this attempt to make you as a star. Again, Aleister Crowley said we are all stars. Right? Stars, and what does that mean? Stars which are elevated above mankind's head. He looks up to them, worships them as idols. That's right, they are stars. The sun is a star, we're told in science, and it is worshipped as such. The worship of the sun goes back to ancient Babylon and beyond. So here you have all throughout the show evidence of this Hermetic belief system. So you say, so why Hermes? Why Hermetic? Because again, a double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. We're also talking about enemies of creation. Creation is about procreation at the end of the day. So what they want is for the elite of society to forfeit procreation. What do you mean the elite of society? The people in society who will call themselves stars. It's desirable if they're asexual. It's one of the reasons why transvestigation has become so popular now, because people have caught the real live examples of little boys who are raised up as girls and little girls who were raised up as boys. We're even seeing the little ones being pulled around by Angelina Jolie and what's the other one? There's another one or two that we all know that drags around their daughter and lets them dress as a boy on the red carpet and stuff, or at events, or drags around their son and lets the son dress as a daughter. So here we saw that being pre-programmed. Let's see, hold on. Somebody here need to be thrilled? I just saw that. Okay, everybody in here looks like they're supposed to be. Okay. Thank you. Cometa New Being. Uma Thurman. That's what I was thinking of. Right on. Now, and see, it's folks who say, and Vinette Glau says it's mostly male to female because it's easier. Certainly. But like we said last night when we went down through the rabbit hole and I went somewhere y'all didn't expect me to go, I validated all of those things, did I not? I validate transvestigations. I did one myself. Right? One of the most famous ones out there. Why is he or she? Excuse me, why is she or he? Talking about Michael. Dear Michael. So I'm with that. Talked about the clones. I'm with that. But folks got to rightly divide and look at SRA, and don't forget that. Everybody that looks at those things ignores how SRA and mind control fit into that. And Crowleyism. Because Crowley said you need a boy. Come on, somebody. Where you at? Crowley said you need a boy. And it makes perfect sense why you do. There's nothing more abominable that can rip the veil. You have to rip the veil to let certain powerful devils come through. So you got to rip the veil by doing the most abominable thing possible against creation. They're not raping little girls like they're raping little boys. Because it's not as abominable. It's both abominable. Both abominations. But an abomination and an affront to creation is to rape a boy. So add that into your theories and then rightly divide and balance all that out, y'all. Before you go out here jumping out the window talking about it. Put it where it go. Right on? Even if you right now say a boy with intelligence. Right on. Baby sister Jessica H say horrible. Right on. Mm-hmm. Right on, y'all. So, hey. So now I hope that's understood. And now you do know Crowley said that because I've also, because they want to bury that. so they can push these other things, the other things that bury SRA. That's happening for real every day. That's happening much more common. You see, why is it such a big deal when the stars allow for their children to go through this program? Because it's an honor. An honor means you are one of a few. So it's not as much as y'all been saying. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Get mad if you want. I won't front. I got to tell you. So now, you got to rightly divide it. Let me show you what Crowley said. And you know everything is Crowleyan. That's like the people that say everything is a hoax. You got to be careful with throwing a blanket over stuff. Rightly dividing takes more work. That's why people do that. That's why people throw a blanket. Oh, it's such and such. Then you can put it in that box, dismiss it, and move on to the next one. But I won't let you do that. No. That box got compartments in it, baby. That didn't go there. Put it where it go. Sorry. Okay, now, let's go. Let's look here. Now, Crowley said that he needed young boys. And I already had it up here. I already had everything up here for y'all. Of course, things happen. Yeah, it was up here. Okay. But it's in Magic and Theory and Practice if you don't believe me. But just so you can see how easy you can find, excuse me, find things. Okay, Aleister Crowley. And there's disinformation out about Aleister Crowley. He has lots of people that love him. Of course, there is. They put out false information all the time. And they hide things that people have gotten hip to. This is something, I saw the paper. I've seen the paper before. I haven't seen that anymore. Where Aleister Crowley bragged in the newspaper, in a British newspaper. But there was nothing they could do about it. They considered him to be an eccentric and that he was talking crazy. So they tell us. But it's just like Jimmy Savile. These guys are so connected high up. Folks in the know, no, don't mess with them. Let's call in young boys. Yeah, and he said of above average intelligence, which is, again, why I know, the Lord really put it on my heart that Gary Coleman got it the worst on that show. Have you heard him talk? I mean, like as a grown man, as an older grown man, the producers and directors of that show stood to make more money if he stayed sick and stayed little. If he stayed young and kept his voice high. Let's see. Here it is right here. Let's see on the other side. Okay, for years, a group of gay social work academics were able to abuse young boys. No, I saw it flat out. It's from Magic and Theory and Practice. So, I hate that I don't find it here. But here you see, he slept with men, women, and boys. Girls are not mentioned. So again, there's something about these brotherhood men. Yes, these are the same brotherhood men who would want to sleep with a 13-year-old girl. Certainly, they would. But those who are actively involved in the magic and ritual of the brotherhood are into what the master of that magic and ritual had to say concerning it. One who revised the rituals for the 33rd degree was Aleister Crowley. And Aleister Crowley made it known that he was into the molestation of, and then in the midst of the rape, he would snap their neck upon his climax. And this was enough, as disgusting as it is to you. We're impure. Imagine what it is in the spirit realm. So doing a thing of this nature is what it takes to cause a devil of a more powerful level to come from beneath the veil, or to come from behind the veil. Yes. Yes. That's what they do it. This is why you hear about baby bear Satanists and whatnot. What do? They go out into the backyard, they go out into the woods, and they sacrifice squirrels or cats. They probably can't catch a squirrel. But, they sacrifice cat. And cats are very wily. How do you catch a cat? They must have to be nice to the cat. Open up some tuna fish or something, set it down. But yeah, they do that because, again, that's abominable too. So the most abominable things rip the veil the greatest. I told you the testimony that I've had of someone being used in a ritual and misused in a ritual, abused by multiple men, something being grown in them during the abuse. Didn't take 9 months worth of a gestation process. And during the process of this, a baby, a human baby, a regular baby, was torn apart over this person. These type of things I have to listen to. Right? But even worse, it's the type of things real people have to go through. So within satanic ritual abuse, you have to have women to breed. See, this is why I say what I say. It's a method to my madness. I'm with it, but just put it where it go. Okay? All can't be male. All can't be switched over, because you need boys to abuse for one way, and you need girls to abuse another way. The breeders in the satanic community. So, rightly divide that, please. Please. Okay, so now let's get back to it now. Now look here. Okay. Here again, the color coding. Now here with the pink and blue, this means sex. My opinion is that, like Todd Bridges said in his book, Killing Willis, he said him and Dana had a lot of sexual encounters on the show. A lot of them. And after the show. They would go home after the show and mess around. On the show, they'd mess around. And I believe Conrad was involved in that too. Certainly. So I think this is a sign of that. There was also at least one scene where he kisses her squarely on the mouth. Not a romantic kiss, but father kissing daughter like that on the mouth is questionable in today's society, at least. Okay, so now this is what I'm going to need. This is what I'm going to need from y'all. Like they make pink for the girls and blue for the boys. Right on. Okay, this is what I'm going to need from you guys. 30 more thumbs up to match the 141 people here. But no, more importantly than that, I need a short break. A slight break. Let's say 5 or 10. Matter of fact, I think if y'all stay in here for 5 minutes, I can come back within that 5-minute period of time. We pick right up. The video will be seamless when people watch it back. So I would like to do that. I'm going to move like the Flash. Okay? So that's cool? All right. Okay. All right. Okay. Be right back. Be right back, loved ones. Be right back in 5. Okay. All right. Now, the episode that I had wanted to show you all tonight was called The Ancestors. This is something else here too. Somebody needs to do this one right here. But the episode that I had for y'all that I wanted us all to watch was called The Ancestors. and it's buffering quite a bit. But I took a lot of pictures from the episode, the key things anyway. And so we're going to go ahead and look at those pictures from that particular episode. I took a lot of random pictures, period, just to reinforce what we had been talking about the color codes, because if it's there, if you see it once, you'll see it multiple times, excuse me. And see how slow it's moving there? Never happens. Okay, so let us go through the finer points of, Burial Ground. I'm sorry, Burial Ground is the name of the episode that I wanted to show you tonight. The one we looked at last time was called The Ancestors. Now, in Burial Ground, I found a lot of stuff. Again, Burial Ground is about this chief. The chief's name is Long Walker. Okay, here it goes. Okay, yeah, we'll need to see it. Y'all good. Y'all, we don't have to see it. Hold on. Okay, so Chief Long Walker. Chief Long Walker comes to the door. That's Chief Long Walker. Chief Long Walker comes to the door and he says to Mr. Drummond, he says, I'm looking for Mr. Drummond. He said, I understand that one of your workers found a very valuable artifact, or found this strange artifact on one of the sites, on your construction site. And he says, oh, sure, come in. I know what you're talking about. Well, guess who found it? Actually, Arnold found it. He went to work with his old dude or whatever. But him and Mr. Drummond and Kimberly all went. So he finds this rock. Wait till y'all see the rock. He finds this rock. So one of the guys that works on the construction site happens to be Native American. And this guy is from, like, he's not the chief, but he's some chief representative of a tribe called the Oswego tribe. Now, there is no Oswego, New York. There is a Native American word for Oswego. It means wide-mouthed river. But I could not find a particular tribe of that name. Okay. Let's see what else here. Wait a minute. Okay, so I couldn't find a tribe by that specific name. And thanks to everybody who made it back. Thank you. However, we'll ask around. Whether Jonathan G says he lives by multiple reservations. No, I wouldn't say ask around. I looked around. I couldn't find that tribe. Whatever I just said. I couldn't find that tribe. So he comes and he says, well, I believe that what you found is a very valuable artifact to me and my people. We got to see this. We have got to see this. We really have to watch it, y'all. I want y'all to watch it. Find it. It's on here. It's on YouTube. This episode called Burial Ground. So he says, well, yeah. He says, I believe that article is that artifact is something very important connected to my people, my tribe. And so a conflict or a dispute arises about, well, okay, so since that artifact came from that piece of construction land, that must be his tribe's burial ground. It's an Indian burial ground. Now, some of you may not remember a movie called Poltergeist. And I also believe it was in Amityville Horror, too. But there was a plot line that you would find in more than one horror movie based upon someone disturbing an Indian burial ground and then being attacked by ghosts, in that case, poltergeists. Or, the ancestors' spirits avenge themselves by messing with those who disturb their burial grounds. Much like we hear about the King Tut's curse. All these things are myths put out through various means in order to reinforce a belief, even if it's only a subconscious belief, in necromancy. Yes. So certain movies drummed up this fear, or you better not disturb an ancestral burial ground. Now, that aside, is it disrespectful to move around people's relatives where they buried them? Certainly. Now, so the chief has in this box right here a gift for Arnold. He pulls out the gift. See? Somehow I must have thought I was going to have to do this, right? He pulls out the gift. It happens to be this hat here. Now, first of all, Arnold's in double zeros. I forgot to notice that. Red and blue. So which one is it? Is it gold and blue? Is it red? They're all, again, so which one is it? Is it numerology? Is it astrology? Right? So which one is it? Is it transvestigations? Is it NASA fake this? Is it everything is a hoax? Okay. It's some of all of it. Why does the devil have to use all of these things? To keep you confused and chasing your tail and going in circles like Billy Preston. But at the end of the day, it means the same thing. This happens to be red, white, and blue that Arnold's got on there. He's got on 00, and then later on in the same show, he's going to have on 80 with his gold and blue. And these happen to be gold and blue Nikes too. You can barely see, but the swoosh is gold and the shoe is blue. But anyway, he's got on the 00. The zeros are in red, you know. Where did he buy these clothes? Where was these clothes purchased at? I believe clothes were specially made to make sure you had the right color combination and the right number on it, right? How else could you make sure you had that? So we've talked about the red, white, and blue before. Again, it has to do with the two pillars, which we see back there. We're going to walk between the pillars too at some point in time. During this show, I'm going to show you all around this house and trip you out. But the two pillars, okay, the red and blue, the two dualities, okay, the two sides of man that they believe those two sides should be fully expressed in order for you to be your best, but even more so for you to be blessed and for you to manifest as God yourself, right? The red and the blue, the two largest, always looking for the light, which is white. Amen. Even in the pyramid that I showed y'all up at the top, again, the all-seeing eye is above the pyramid, right? Right? The light, which is white. They're seeking for the light. So he was to represent the Lucifer, okay, who was in controlling the Heru, Osir, and Osset, or Horus, Osiris, Isis, in control of them, the parent of them on the show. So now, Chief Longwalker pulls out this box and says, "Oh, well, do you think I could hold on to that stone for a minute and get it tested or show it to my tribe, whatever, blah, 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 and in exchange for you allowing for me to do that, I have a little gift to give you." So it gives him this gift, which is a ceremonial Native American hat or headgear. And Arnold puts it on. He's excited about it. He's got on the red and blue. And over there, sitting on the couch over there, okay, as far as how the set is set up, how the scene is set up, over there on the couch is Willis and Kimberly. Notice anything? And they're red and blue too. Right? I mean, I'm just a black man from Detroit. What do I know? So now, Chief Longwalker puts the thing on his head, which is flowered. Again, we all love the flowers. We love the flowers. Ain't nothing wrong with that. But let's get a close-up look at the hat. 00. What does that have to do with? Again, the nothingness. What is Jim Carrey complaining about now? Supposedly. So you think. You believe it. No, he's sent out here to get you to 00 yourself out too. Some questions you shouldn't ask. Live, right? He is in a state. He appears to be in a state of confusion. I don't believe it. I believe that he wants to convince everyone else to zero themselves out too. He zeroed himself out so that he could fill himself up with Andy Kaufman, and it cost him. Right? He didn't proceed with caution. He didn't expect for it to go like it went. So now, okay, so let's move on. So now, after he proceeded to put the hat on him, he puts his hand in the pyramid and begins to do a dance with, I don't know, but I mean, Grandma Jackson had Cherokee in her, right? We all say that. Well, they came from Tennessee. Great grandma looked just like she was Cherokee. But I don't believe it's respectful to be doing it. Hey, I don't know. Perhaps that's really a Native American thing. But it's kind of like when Kimberly and Mr. Drummond were caricaturing how Arnold and Willis act black to them on the show that was actually called Roots, where they brought a black psychologist in to not just say, well, Willis and Arnold, y'all overdoing it with the Afrocentricity, but to also tell Mr. Drummond how he needs to better expose the boys to things from their own culture, which didn't happen outside of the show. The show was to satisfy some things. The show's mind controlling as can be. And again, I'm giving you three shows to watch on your own. Okay, because we're not getting them up here tonight, doesn't look like. 3. It is this one, the one that we're going down through right now. This is called Burial Ground, about the chief. Secondly, is the one that's actually called Roots, not the one we watched last week. The one we watched last week was called The Ancestors. I was referring to it as Roots. My bad. We're going to watch the one actually called Roots. And third, the Van Drummonds. You got to see the Van Drummonds. So you can come back and tell me something crazy you saw. So anyway, Chief Longwalker, which is a type of spirit, from what I read. Okay, Long Walker. A Long Walker was another name for a particular type of spirit. So Chief Long Walker throws up the upside down rock symbol. Oh, baby. And which is really, the Kohen hands. Okay, the position of the priest. And he started busting his move. And then Arnold, how we do. We watch a couple steps and then we join right in, right? So he did. So Arnold started doing it too. Now, when Chief Longwalker tells Arnold about the stone for the first time, they get up close, not as close as I got, but they get up close to Chief Longwalker because Chief Longwalker tells Arnold, the stone that you found, before Arnold actually shows it to him, he says, Arnold, the stone that you found, does it look anything like this? And he takes it and holds it out for Arnold to see. And I started looking at it. I want to look at it. I was just trying to see, was there something there? It looks like a bear to me. This is what he ends up saying. It's a bear. Okay? And it looks like a bear. I go for that, right? Somebody said horns. Now, those look like pronounced ears to me. Those look like ears. That looks like one ear. That looks like another ear. Keep in mind, this is digital to be watching it on. I recorded it from the Big Booty TV, which is not. So now, the only TV I got, the only TV I'm going to have, too. Get you a plasma TV if you want to. Life of a thing is in the blood. Now, beneath the bear, because see, again, you can't miss the forest for the trees. Okay? This was a distraction. Because the show's about this. This is central to the show. So, of course, I'm going to focus on this. But what I really should have been looking at was this right here. Some of you may see it now. You may... Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Got it. Trying to be too fancy. Okay, hold on. You know that's going to happen when we get to getting good. Okay, hold on. Here we go. Wait a minute. There it is. Hold on. Wait a minute. That's when he holds it up and says, Arnold, did it look like this? Now, when he turned it to the side, it didn't look as much like a bear. Hold on, now that's the stone thing. So yeah, we're going back and forth. Now we multitasking. You can do it. You can keep up. I'm just a guy from Detroit. I can't be faster, right? So now you look here. Down on this here is where the real tell of the tale was to me, I thought. But this is when he holds it and shows it to Arnold and says, and aren't his nails so nicely polished there? But he holds it and shows it to Arnold and says, does it look anything like this? Now this told me too that the one world order thing was in full effect. There's an African actor too on another show that I have to show you too. He does a little voodoo. Excuse me. He says some word. He speaks some words of prayer over Arnold, right? But anyway, so he's holding it up there. And I said to myself, now this guy, if we looked up this actor, because I looked up the African actor, I didn't look up this actor. Don't feel like I needed to, and I'm gonna show you why. But if you look him up, he's a Native American that's plugged in. It's one world order. Anybody that'll do Lucifer's will can be a part. Truly, truly. Hold on. Okay, right. That looks like a bear from a totem pole. Right? Hold on. Looks like a bear, pretty much. Growling bear. Okay. But this here, it's caught my eye. That's the tell of the tale. It's going to take you a second to get it. It's going to take you a second. Hold on. Wait a minute. And if anybody is familiar with that thing, and they can dispute what I'm going to tell you, what I'm going to tell you it is, then come on with it. Where's it at? Okay, bam. Okay, come on with it. Okay, this thing here, I know I had more pictures of it because I got up really close to this. I wanted to get this. Okay, I did. Bam. It took for me to see it from this angle and to see the shine that appears to be around it and to see it appeared to be a triangle inside of a circle that was beaming with light with something in the middle of the triangle, oval shaped. Sounds like it could have, again, been a stylized or Native American version of all-seeing eye. Right on, Gyra A. Okay? Now, hold it. Hold what you got. Let's see. Let's go to the next one. See the shine going around it now, right? It's symmetrical. It did not appear to have a head or a tail. Right? Okay. Again, you see the shine around it? Again, if somebody see and find something different, come holler at me. There it is again. So now, I wanted to see was it an animal. Again, I was trying to get, y'all see, I'm working the big booty TV out, right? I got an old school DVD player, zooms in real nice. I zoomed in on it. I kept trying to look at it from different angles. And I couldn't get a clear indication of what it was. Because, see, as it's turning here, what y'all seeing right there that may appear to be a head to you, it was just the angle. The glare is causing that amplification of what would normally be a straight line or a slope to make the third side of the pyramid or the right side of the pyramid from our perspective. Right? Jonathan G said, I dispute. He's just a geometry teacher of his tribe. Right. Oz Harif, excellent add-on, says Professor Barry Fell, author of America BC, documented Egyptian writing influenced the Mi'kmaq language in the Americas. Thank you so much for that bit of useful information. I thank you so much. Okay. Mr. Shepherd said, is it a sacred teepee? A teepee has the shape of a pyramid too. Now, does it not? So now, okay, so now, to the point of our brother who dropped it on me, Oz Harif. Thank you. To Oz Harif's point, what culture around the world was not influenced by ancient Babylon or ancient Egypt / aka Kemet? Where don't we find all-seeing eyes and pyramid shapes and dragons and things of this nature? Where don't we find them? We find them all over because they was brought down by one source and then spread all around. Right? Big nephew Ronell said the tribe did a ritual over that necklace he rocking. I could believe it. He's like, me go to white man, me get more power, bring back the tribe. Now see, that was racist. I'm sorry. But I'm part Native American, I can say it. No. But see again, more angles. See? Now, again, more angles. Same thing. Same thing, right? You seeing the same thing? All right. I just want to make sure I wasn't crazy. And Conrad Brain's like, no, you're very right, young man. Right? Okay, now. That's the stone. Don't look like what he had around his neck. Now, maybe the ear's not as pronounced, or the ear broke off because it's an artifact, right? I was born that night, not last night. That don't look like a head of a bear to me. Huh? I was a normal boy, although I was raised in the D. I loved me some dinosaurs. I wanted to draw dinosaurs and everything. Right? It looks reptilian about the head to me. Now, I will say, there is this part here, the mouth, nose. It is bear-like. It's bear-like. So we don't have to. Okay, hold on. Sister Estelle said it looks feline. Gyra A said it looks like a green potato. Big nephew Ronell said, no, that ain't Yogi the Bear. Sister Vanette said it looks like a hippo. Well, we can have all sorts of interpretation about it. But I certainly didn't. Okay, bottom line. I disputed that they were trying to show me a bear. Now, this isn't my close-up. This was the odd close-up of the show. And let's say that, too. Let me get that out there, too. I don't believe I said this before. Not since we've been looking at different strokes. Every camera shot costs money. They're not playing any games. A close-up camera shot on something trivial would be a waste. It's a waste of time and money. They do camera blocking during rehearsal, where the camera knows exactly where it's going to be. You know, y'all rehearsed that part of rehearsal. Okay? So it's very important. Every shot is important. It's key to telling the story. If all they were doing was telling a story, every shot would be key only to telling the story. But because they're doing more than telling a story, they are programming an idea into the mind of the viewer. They are programming ideas to be accepted later into the mind of the viewer. That's what Diff'rent Strokes is is basically all about. If you bottom line it out. Let's show you, these are the ideas we want you to carry with you, to accept, or to be dealing with. So, every shot is key. So now let me show you. So now, hold on. Sister Jarvis says, so basically, it's a bear. I don't think it's a bear. I think it's something else. And it was important. See, if it were a bear, it could have looked very much like a bear. Or they could have kept us from seeing it so up close. That's not necessary. It wasn't really paramount to the subject of the show as the show went on. It changed from the artifact. This ended up becoming a trivial part of the whole idea. The whole idea was that Mr. Drummond was going to have to go ahead and build anyway. He can't pull back on a government project. I just can't do it. Boys, I know you like Chief Longwalker. And Arnold fell in love with Chief Longwalker since Longwalker gave him that hat. And Arnold began saying, my people. Dad, are you really going to build on top of my people's burial ground? Oh boy, if Dane Calloway could hear that. Right? Hold on. Now. Okay. Yeah. This is when Arnold is initially excited about it all. Okay. I think I was just looking at the color code there too. Gold and blue, red and blue together, right? And then I went off into the room here. What was I looking for in here? I think I was just looking at the same thing. The color code, the numbers, 84. Okay. 84. 8 and 4 being 12. Another expression of duality. 8 and 4 themselves being dual numbers. 24 twice. Or 42 twice. My bad. And then you have and 42 being 6 times 7. 6 plus 7 being 13. They play all these type of number games. 4 you can divide in half as 2. 8 you can divide in half as 4. You can still divide those in half. 2 becomes 1. 4 becomes 2. So you'll see them wearing 12 also quite often, right? So now, I think I was looking up there. What did it say? Oh, no. Okay, no, that's not the one I wanted.
Don't you ever do that again. Not only is eavesdropping bad for your character, it could be very destructive to your behind.
Okay, I thought that was interesting too. Okay, that's why I recorded that. Okay, the threats made. Okay, because I have an excerpt from the spanking one here too. That I said I was going to show y'all last time we didn't get to. So, this fixation also with Gary Coleman's little bottom. We're not finished with the ancestors. I mean, with the burial ground episode. Hold on, but because I came to this clip, so I don't forget. Let me interject this now. The fixation with his little bottom. For one, being there's an episode, I didn't show that one, but there's an episode where they make him go through Hermetic theater, and the duality is reality and fantasy, where they take Arnold to the doctor and find out that he's no longer going to grow. He won't get any taller than 4 foot something or something like that. And the show opens up with Gary Coleman with his back to you in a hospital gown. And it starts off with the with the applause meter causing the people to laugh while he's standing there looking at x-rays. He's looking at his own x-rays, trying to make sense of them as a little boy. Okay, but here you had Mr. Drummond said, it might mean some destruction to your butt. And, terms like that were used quite often when it came down to Gary getting spanked, or Arnold getting spanked. I'm going to bust your butt. It's going to cause a lot of problems for your butt. Okay, and never do I remember Mr. Drummond actually spanking him. The episode called The Spanking, Mr. Drummond is going to spank him. And as Gary goes up the steps, or as Gary get ready to go up the steps, Conrad Bain or Mr. Drummond smacks him on his behind as he gets ready to go up the steps to get ready for his whooping or whatever. But Willis end up doing the whooping, which is still weird because Willis is a boy named Todd Bridges of 13, and Arnold is a boy named Gary Coleman of 10. And to put one over the other's lap and do that on TV was a little weird. Just a little weird. That's all. Hold on. Okay. Let's see. What was I looking at there for? I think it was this. I don't remember what I was looking for there. I think I was just looking at color codes there. Okay. So let's get to the nitty gritty. Okay. Now, when you look at the Drummond household, from time to time, Inside Out, the Lava says, I remember feeling glad that Mr. Drummond didn't do it, though. So do I. I remember feeling glad that he didn't do it, too, probably just because I was a kid, and the idea of a whooping is not something that you want for another kid or for yourself, unless, of course, you're really mad at your cousin. You want him to get in trouble. Something like that. So was I, generally. But it was just weird. It was strange. Okay, so now, Sister Natasha says it looks part human and part bear. And I believe that the Lone Walker spirit was a part human, part animal spirit. Whenever we hear of other cultures accepting on the spirit of an animal, even in martial arts, some of you know my famous tale I told you about my buddy whose style was the lion style in Tamarayan martial arts, mind you. And that spirit took him over, and he went to crawling around the apartment like a lion. He's about 300 pounds, about 6'4", 6'5". He's pawing at the walls, making a low growl. I had to call reinforcements. But anyway, so whenever we're dealing with that, lycanthropy is the form of witchcraft that's going to be involved. So certainly, if there was some sort of bear spirit, there were certain members of the tribe, I'm sure, who wanted to be one with that bear spirit, or who wanted to let that bear spirit in them. Correct? And then this is an ancestral, generational, or familial curse, sometimes called a possession. Right? That's right. I didn't tell no lie. So now, around the Drummond house. This is going to be fun. See, this one, I don't know. It's two I don't know, and one I do. The one I do is going to make it all worthwhile. I don't know who this gentleman is, but I wanted to get up closer to him because he's got to be somebody. He's got to be somebody. Why do I say that? I'll tell you. Okay. I just want to get him another shot. Okay, hold on. That man has to be somebody because I'm going to show you who else is on the wall, right? Mind control. Brainwashing. Ain't that right, Miss Garrett? Okay, now. Which one is this? Oh, okay. Okay. This is the bathtub scene. Okay. Well, y'all can see that too. I don't guess they'll get us for that. Okay. Color code, red and blue. And of course, this is how you start a party. Well, he's in his wet clothes. Brother Theo, he's in his wet clothes. Okay, so now, and then Willis with the gold and blue. So now, right, there you go. And let's look around the house some more. Now, let's look around the house. Now, after Mr. Drummond is done with Arnold in the hot tub there, he comes carrying him out, wearing pink and blue. My man, S. Maurice says, Google Long Walker and Nephilim. Now, hey, I said this was going to be interactive. Thank you so much, S. Maurice. That's a piece. Here's more. I don't know who this is either. There's somebody. It's on the wall of an Illuminati member's household. It's on the wall of an elite member of society in New York, Park Avenue, no less. It's on the wall. So that's somebody, and I'm gonna tell you why. Now, this episode, this is the. Let's see, where did he go hide? Oh, that's the spanking. That episode is from the spanking, which is also not on YouTube. Come on now. The spanking is also not on YouTube. So as he carries Arnold down the steps, I began to notice these are inverted seashells. Anyone know what that has to do with someone? Columbia? Anyone? Venus? Anyone? Fertility, egg, queenly Hebrews. Thank you. Now, okay, so that's fertility and sex, right? On the steps, right on. Okay, Poseidon. Okay. Now, you will see the seashell usually tied to a mother goddess figure, be it Venus or Venus as Columbia. Okay? Female parts. Thank you, Arakad, and that's why. Thank you for keeping me from having to figure out how to say that on the fly. Right? Yes, female parts. Okay? And this is how the well is made where these statues are. Y'all asked me about the statues before. I got pictures of the statues for you. It sounds like I'm missing something here because I had way more pictures than this. I know I got pictures of the statues. I went all up and down the statues, y'all. Hold on. We must have passed by that one. Yeah. The statues I told you are those boys in swaddling cloths or something wrapped around them. And whatever the wrap is that's around them is the only thing that's keeping them from being naked. Now, see, that's strange. See, something is wrong here. Because I know I took some more pictures that I do not see. Hold on. Looking for the boys on the steps. I took them separately. Oh, okay. Here we go. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. All right. That's from the Long Walker. That's from the Long Walker episode, which we're going to go back to. Okay, haven't forgot that. Haven't forgot that because it's more in the Long Walker episode. Somebody might have just saw it, and I'm not going to give it away. There's more in the Long Walker episode. Here we go. Now, all right. So now we want to look at the statues. Now, again, this is the best I can do. Using a digital camera to capture an analog source. You're going to lose a lot of quality. Okay. I got several of them. I was trying to look at it. I was trying to see if his little Johnson was hanging out. Hard to tell. Wait a minute. Got more. Oh, this was a painting. This is a painting here. When the boys... okay, Quinley. I'm gonna go back to them statues because I must have some better pictures further this way. But while we're going this way, might as well say something about what we passed by. Mr. Drummond went into the room with the boys, and my eye was just like, check this out. Look at that picture back there. I looked at the picture. I couldn't make much of it, except it didn't seem too cheerful. So I said, well, maybe it's abstract or something. Maybe I'm just looking at the color scheme. Maybe it is something, mundane or ordinary or whatever, or cheerful, but it's abstract art perhaps. So I had to zoom in on it a little taste, which I can do like that now that I've gotten it here on the digital source. But to get it off the big booty TV, I just zoomed in like that. Zoom 3. And what it appears to be is a shore of some kind of water, mist, and a full moon, which is a normal painting you'd find in a rich man's house outside of his boy's door. I'm sure. Inconsequential. Nothing to that. Just a little spooky, but nothing to be alarmed about. Nothing to it. Let's see what else is this way here. I got more stuff than I remember. Right, okay, right. The red and blue, blue and gold. Red and blue, blue and gold. This is a whole other episode. This is the episode. This is this is the spanking. That's the spanking episode. We looked at that last time. Okay, so the statues are not this way after all. I thought I had more pictures of the statues than that. My apologies. Oh, okay. Also, while we're going this way, I wanted to show y'all. Remember how I said in season 1, you see one banner. The one banner is Harvard. Now, what I wanted to do, and had not done yet, was find out when do additional banners begin in the season. And then make some correlations based on that. Okay, but I can tell you that in this season here, which is season 4, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 banners, and one over here on this wall, making 6. Now, I thought to myself, there are each points. And when I only saw 5, I said, oh, that's the 5-pointed star. 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And over here, a 6th one. So when I saw the 6th one, and kind of said it's 6-pointed star, hexagram, to place a hex on you. And that one is Yale. That's Yale right there. When they, Skull and Bones. I mean, do we have to say the I'm sorry. Right, of course. Yale, Skull and Bones, secret society, men of power and political influence, which is a man of means like Mr. Drummond was. Some of the conversations he's having on the phone when he's talking to his business associates, those conversations are to illustrate to those with eyes to see and ears to hear. They were watching the show to illustrate what status he was on. He was big balling, okay? The problem between him and Chief Longwalker is Chief Longwalker wanted him to stop and don't disrespect my people's burial ground. And Mr. Drummond is like, hey, I got a government contract. I couldn't stop if I wanted to. He says that in the episode. Okay? Now, okay, right. Old money. Now, let's see how old the money is. Hey, Northwestern and Grambling. Jonathan G in the place to be. That's right. You on point. Inside out, the lava says 5 times 3 equals 15. 5 plus 1 equals 6. Chaos Nova says 322. Right. Skull and Bones. Quinley Hebrew says like notches on a headboard. Every time someone got him. Go ahead, sister. Let the Holy Spirit talk. Let it talk. Nah, that's the first thing came to my mind. Because season 1 is 1. So now y'all like all these teams and your rich daddy couldn't have bought all the teams you liked at one time and put them all up there at one time. And then they all up over the bed. This one pointing to the bed. Now Northwestern, to Sister Natasha Lobb's point, Sister Natasha Lobb gave us the connection to connect from this show to the Rothschild family. Yes, she did. And it's got to do with Northwestern. There was a show called Hello Larry. I vaguely remember it. The show starred McLean Stevenson, who excuse me, who played the first colonel, who played the first colonel on MASH 4077. McLean Stevenson played the colonel who went up in the helicopter, and the helicopter got shot down or it crashed or something. I remember that. I used to watch MASH. First thing I ever played on the piano was the MASH theme song. It's really easy. But anyway, suicide is painless. I remember when my father told me what the song was actually saying. I was like, this song, no wonder it sounds so sad. But anyway, McLean Stevenson plays Mr. Drummond's homeboy. McLean Stevenson has 2 daughters, and McLean Stevenson has a TV show, a radio show, a talk show. He starts off having a radio show, and then I believe they tried to move it to like a talk show, which is where you get the Hello Larry. I think that was the name of the talk show. It only went for a season. The reviews on it weren't great. But the girls that played his daughters are the ones that we can connect to the Rothschild family. If I'm, now I'm paraphrasing what Sister Natasha explained in good detail up under the first Diff'rent Strokes or Weird Scenes Inside Diff'rent Strokes video. If you look in the comments section, you should see in there where she corrected what she had previously told me in the email and made it very plain and gave us the detail, what she had. Those 2 girls that play Hello Larry's daughters also star in, or one of the girls and her sister one, they're connected to Disney. Witch Mountain and one of the other Disney movies for kids that was out during that time. I forget the other one. So yeah, but that's in the comment section for the first Diff'rent Strokes one, okay? And also I believe I've got it jotted down somewhere over here. So yes, the banners, Star Spangled Banner. Okay, those are banners, flags. Again, to show ownership or conquering. We've conquered this territory. We plant our flag there. Right on. Right and exact. Okay, now let's move on. Escape to which mountain? Right. All right. Thank you. And the other one, I forget. Okay. Inside Out the Lava says Hebrews 9 and 17 is what this is about. The deed that is no good as long as the executor is alive, but honored with the death and the blood. So evil flipped it. Right. Right. There. The deed that is no good as long as the executor is alive. Right. So you want the executor to be dead. Okay. Because then it would be honored. Right. Okay. Okay. Still is evil, says LB. Jonathan G says, oh, low battery. Let me plug in. Jonathan G says, John Todd talked about the Rothschilds being treated as gods on earth. Then I came across a picture of the Pope kissing Rothschild's hand. Certainly. Spiritual Warrior says, I think he was a Nazi. Natasha Lobb says, baptisms. Okay, now. Okay. Prince Sext says, the bloodstained banner. Right on. Better say it. Sister Estelle said, Disney just bought out Fox in another studio. Right on. And The Simpsons predicted it. LB. Okay. LB says, Twitches, Brother Theo? Not sure. Please clarify. Oh, and this is on the, oh my goodness, it keep telling me low battery. I might have to turn this thing around. Hold on. Let me make sure that we're charging. Okay, it's charging, so I can't touch it. Okay. This was the show called The Bus. Arnold gets off the bus. Grateful Temple. Yeah, right. That's right. Grateful Temple says they were also on reality TV as adults. Kim and right, exactly. That's what Sister Natasha was telling me about, and I believe she's in there, so she can clarify, and I appreciate that. Yes, that's right. Sister Bella said that makes me think of an S&M mask. Made me think of that too, and also Hannibal Lecter, but because there's like last time when Kobe Brewster caught when the line that Gary Coleman had was, I just want to be loved. And the way he looked when he delivered it, that was a line meant to mess with his mind. Just like when Norman Whitfield and them inserted the real date of one of the Temp's father's deaths in the song Papa Was a Rolling Stone. Just like when Todd Bridges said he had a hard time with the script for The Bicycle Man because he himself had gone through molestation. Producers knew that. They do that. It's one way to get a real reaction. We want a real response from you, Hallie, so we're going to have to let Billy Bob run you up. Okay? They had a certain plan for Todd Bridges. You know, the devil had a plan for him. And if his mother gave him into that system, which is what it looked like to me, he had one brother, one sister, they all went on auditions together. His mother was messing around with Carl Weathers. I believe it. He probably plugged her in, put her together. But what the cost was her son's life. That was the cost. That's the sacrifice. She sacrificed her son. She didn't sacrifice him to the death. She sacrificed him to the streets. She kept him out the streets, got him in show business. He's got more than $1 million in the bank. He becomes a heartthrob. Janet Jackson is his girlfriend. And he ended up being a crackhead on the streets of South Central. Right? 32. Okay. I think that's what I was looking at there. let's move on. Oh, okay. So these were basically the statue ones I had, and then I had a third one somewhere. Oh, here it is. Ta-da! Low battery again. I don't know how come. Every time I move around, the cord comes out. So I want to be cognizant of that. Okay. Now let's read a couple of comments here. Sister Vanette says the truth has a ring to it, even if there are lies all around it. Amen. Shy Million said yes, his mother gave up Todd. Prince Sex said true. They need to harvest real energy, real trauma. Thank you. Thank you for saying it better than I was saying it, certainly. So you want to really traumatize these children. Now, I wondered, I believe it was Bryce Taylor, but for some reason I keep seeing Kathy O'Brien's face. So either Kathy or Bryce told the tale of the Jackson boys having to be molested by a man named Mr. Big before they were allowed to go out onto the set, or to go out immediately afterward. They had to go out and perform. I mean, immediately. Like, pull your pants up, wipe yourself off, pull your pants up, go out there and perform. Yes. So, see, I don't want to hear that stuff all the time. Oh, they're all male term. Crowley, and they need boys. I explained that already. Okay. Right on. Charlotte M say on Bob's show. Right on. I don't now. If it was Bob Hope in question, then we're probably talking about Bryce. But for some reason, I'm thinking that it was another show besides Bob Hope. But oh, okay. Sister Lynn say Bob Hope. Oh, okay. Right on. Gotcha. Maria Gabrielle says Bryce Taylor. Thanks for the memories. Talked about the Jackson kids getting raped. Okay, right on. Yes. I have that book in my possession. Haven't gotten to that part yet. So yes. So now the point of me bringing that up. Why do they do that? Right, big nephew Ronell, trauma. Mm-hmm. Wait a minute. Sister Judy said, how can people hurt children? And, that's not something that a normal individual with a soul that's intact could answer or could identify with or empathize with, certainly. But unfortunately, I've been privy to information over the years to where I can explain to y'all why they say they do it, or what's really going on, in their minds and in their souls to make them do this. And this is where we get off into, to your point, James Smith says they're not people. This is why it's so easy to get off into they're all vril. So there's some vril. And there's some folks that do it just for the thrill because they're now mentally and spiritually ill. There's some folks I can see them, but see, you can only do this for so long because of how the human mind is. I can see them being in such denial about what they've done to a child, And perhaps the trappings of success and a lifestyle they lead or something like that can make them forget about it for a spell. But they've got to lay down their head on the pillow at night. So yes, right. And right. And they will justify it. Excuse me. This is why, you'll see a lot of celebrities have a beard, and the beard, people talk about a man who's gay, like a Tom Cruise, per se, or someone who they rumor is gay. You say, well, he's with Katie or Nicole, whatever the case may be, that's his beard. That's something to make him look like a man, make him look manly, make him not look gay. I maintain that it's folks who have children for the same reasons. When I first saw Madonna with her little black child, and I believe she's one of the ones who I really had an issue with, because I remember Madonna Lucky Star. I remember when she was trying to get that black dollar. She was trying to get black folks to roll with her, or trying to get our co-signment, or whatever the case may be. I remember she had Big Daddy Kane inside of her a coffee table book, bucket naked. I didn't see the book, of course. But I remember when that was the word, Source Magazine was talking about that. The fall of Big Daddy Kane. He was losing his mind, right? Trying to get too much shine. But anyhow, you know, Madonna was one of the first ones I remember grabbing the little black child, and I just thought to myself, you know, I just knew it was disingenuous. I think they're all disingenuous. And I even questioned black celebrities who adopt children, period. Lionel Richie situation is a Mr. Drummond in reverse type of thing, right? With Nicole Richie. So Michael's children don't look anything like him. It's all sorts of weird things going on here in this thing we call show business. But it's because of the belief system that they have. It's because of the way they view things. I believe Michael touched it. Of course, now understanding what we know. And by the way, does this appear like a phallic symbol to any of you in any way, shape, or form? Now, that's the 3 children. The 3 children, how many children on the show? Okay? How many children on the show? It's 1 for each of them. Did any of you look at, you got to see this video that I pointed out the last time that we were together? And I said, if you wanted to see animated statues, or you wanted to see demonic power being made manifest from statues, check out that video. Do anybody see the red and the blue down yonder? Stairway to heaven, and we're going step by step. Not together. I wouldn't know what that picture was over there. I couldn't see it too good. But yeah, so yeah, each one of them appeared to be clothed to me. That's the second one. That was the first one. And the third one certainly was clothed, because that's some sort of cloth wrapped around it there. So, yeah, they were clothed. It didn't matter, right? Okay. Yeah, there I am trying to zoom in on it some more, and the picture, which yeah, the picture did look like something. The picture was sacred geometry. It's too much. It's too much. Again, this is a set where you have children on here. A set like a Horus, Isis. Oh man, Brother Theater, you're reaching. On the set. Yeah, you can see phallic symbols in anything. Raven, Faye, Bowie. Dude, you can see phallic symbols in anything. Because see, that's like dude, you're getting carried away. Hold on. But now again, we're not talking about anything. Have you been following? Perhaps you haven't been following the subject at hand. If you were familiar with the subject matter and with the premise that I'm presenting to the people tonight, then you would see that it's not just I'm drawing that from anything. I saw this a while ago. It didn't say anything about it. Anything that has a shaft and a dome on top could be seen as a phallic symbol. But I'm sorry, sir. But if you do your due diligence and your research, sir or ma'am, whatever, if you do your due diligence and your research, you will find that not only can anything be seen, for anything cannot be seen as that, but you will find that people have been fixated with phallic symbols ever since the beginning of time, going back to the obelisk. So when we're talking about people who are involved in Egyptian magic rituals or Babylonian mystery system rituals, then certainly, if we can draw any conclusion or if we can make any inference with anyone, we can do it with them. Okay? The reason we're looking at this is because my premise is that all throughout this show, they have been hiding in plain sight the fact that this is a sex rite. The show itself. It's a Hermetic sex rite. And Hermetic come from Hermes, which is also where hermaphrodite come from. I'm sorry I've got a black scent. I can't help it. If I didn't have this black scent, I'm telling you, I'd have 1 million subscribers. I'm trying to tell you. I should have listened closer to Granny TR. He said, don't be common. I didn't do it. I should have not been common. Okay, now. Thank you. Sister Natasha says, The Watcher in the Woods was the other movie. Right on. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Sister Dinah. You're doing your due diligence. Now, so there are sexual symbols above these childlike statues. Right and exact. And I maintain that the childlike statues themselves are, certainly, if John Todd and Proof told us the truth, if they pray over the master tapes, then certainly this set, a ritual would have had to been done on this set, and I wouldn't have missed these statues. We certainly would have prayed on these statues, right? For the spirits to come into the statues and help to, help all of the viewers to become more attached to the show. The same way they pray for the spirits to come into the master tape and help the listeners to become more attached to the music. Oh, come on, y'all. Okay. Now, back to Long Walker. From this long talker. Let's go back to... Now, again, this is somebody's relative. They could have drawn it off of Dana Plato the same way that last week we saw that they drew Heinrich van Drummond off of the likeness of Conrad Bain. Certainly. Makes perfect sense. Now hold it. Everything on set plays a part. That's right. Never thought about it before tonight. Some of you. If you tell it right. This dude, somebody got to tell me, who is that cat? But hold on. Let's go back to Long Walker. Chief Long Walker. Where is he at? Now, let's get down to Long Walker in this hat. Oop. Didn't see that. Oop. Anyway, so Chief Long Walker gave Arnold this ceremonial hat, right, in celebration of Arnold finding this valuable artifact on Mr. Drummond's construction site, where Drummond is going to build something through government contract, no less. And Chief Long Walker, a representative of the tribe, they say Oswego tribe, which is Oswego is a place in New York, not a tribe. It's a word in Native American, but not a tribe. But anyway, not that I found. So this man, Chief Long Walker, comes over and gives Arnold this hat for Arnold, allowing for Long Walker to check out the artifact and take it back to the tribe and see if it is what he thinks it is. So this is before the show comes to the conflict in the show. So here we have the hat. Let's look at it from both sides. Oh, look at it from that side. There it is. Again, I don't know much, but looks a little feminine. Should there be some bison on there? Arrows? Again, I could totally be stereotyping things and just totally out of base, off base and ignorant. So let me move on. So I just wanted to get all of the sides of the hat, right? Hold on. Peace and blessings. Hold on. It is feminine. Thank you, Jira. I don't know. Maybe I didn't know something. Again, we got pink and blue here. Hold on. Xerxes, peace and blessings to you. Revelation News, peace and blessings to you, brother. Latia Reed, peace to you. Bob D, thank you. Thank you, brother. Sister Vanessa said, very film that hat Arnold's wearing. Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure it wasn't just me. Sister Nicole Barber said his parents were his managers. Absolutely, the Colemans. And the Colemans to this day are still upset. They're still upset. They're upset, and they hate the fact that the public views them like they took all this young man's money. Willis, excuse me, not Willis. Todd Bridges. Todd Bridges said he don't care about people calling him Willis. He said when he was smoking rocks, he said the crackheads be calling him Willis. Now Willis, now you know you better than this. Willis, you shouldn't be here with us. But Todd Bridges gave some insight on the parents that didn't make him sound so hot. In his book, he said that, like for instance, he talked about an exchange he had with Mr. Coleman about a parking spot or something like that, and how Mr. Coleman was just so extra. But more than that, he talked about how they was pushing Gary to work. Gary had just had a kidney transplant. This was the one that didn't take, I think it was. The first one or something he had or something. But anyway, he had just had the surgery. Had to come to work and work. Todd Bridges say it was breaking his heart because at the time he was still kind of cool with Gary Coleman. It's like it was breaking his heart to see this kid throwing up all over the set and just really having a hard time and really not wanting to be there. But his parents egging him on, like, oh no, Gary, you know mama's mortgage is due next month, baby. Okay. So they was influencing him to keep going. And it's where he had that strange work ethic that he had that found him taking remedial jobs or taking a job like a security guard. Okay, when he's a highly recognizable individual, and so folks might want to come up to and take pictures of, or pinch his cheeks, or do something that he probably wouldn't like. So he had that. They programmed him to be about his work, which is a good thing in another situation. A good thing in a good situation. Shaw Million said Gary parents exploited him badly. I remember he was sick during the set. Just horrible. Xerxes said that's real abuse. Nicole Barber say they successfully argued for a raise to $30,000 per episode. By 1981, the promise of lucrative syndication money led to another request. This time, the protracted contract negotiations. Yes, to their credit, I suppose, because Gary was just a kid, he was just a boy. So to their credit, I suppose, and Todd talks about that. As the show got more and more popular, they put the screws to the producers, like, hey, okay, so we need to have more money. Gary needs more money. But the problem was they was willing to give Gary more money. Battery power 11 cents. But it threw the show all off balance. Okay? Because it was clear who the star was. He was making all the money. And ironically, he made all of that money. They cleaned him out, and then another manager cleaned him out. And he ends up broke and penniless, basically at the time of his death, and pushed down the steps by his conniving wife, probably for whatever little insurance money or whatever he had left. Right? So, but let's get to the get down. Wait a minute. Brother Jay say from Revelation News says, have you ever heard of the video game on the PC called Postal? Gary Coleman was used in that game to look like an idiot. Sick. Jesus bless Gary's heart. I looked at his credits because I wanted to see how much work he had actually done to not have any money. Had a couple big movies with Robert Guillaume, the guy that played Benson. Which is probably something we could probably look at Benson and find a whole lot of old Tomish stuff going on there, but would that be any fun? So yeah, but no, I've never heard of that game, but I did read where he had done some voiceovers, which is sad. Once the show was over, so was his career. Basically, they didn't need him any longer. He wasn't the same little cute guy. You can even see from, and not trying to talk about the man because he went through a lot of things, but fame is a powerful thing. When you look at Gary Coleman on Good Times, the Gary Coleman on Good Times is a different Gary Coleman than this one. This one on season 4, the look in his eye is like, I know I've made it. Okay. The delivery of his lines is more like, I know I'm the star of the show. Seriously, I'm not lying to you. In the beginning, you didn't see that because he didn't have that. He didn't know he made it. He thought his life was going to be wonderful. I saw the brightness of a bright future in his little eyes when he was a little kid. He was really cute then. But as the show went on, his lines are annoying. Now that the cute factor is gone, we all grown up. The smoke and mirrors is gone. We all realize what was really going on and how terrible the show was to the 3 child actors that held it down. We don't like it like that no more. Okay, we don't even see the cuteness in it anymore. But if you just look at, the eyes as the windows to the soul, the earlier episodes, the look in his eyes, excuse me, he was just glad to be here. And he was enjoying himself. And his jokes was more natural. As the show progressed, he was more of a consummate professional, and you could tell, he had become polished. But with all of that going for him, after the show was done, nobody wanted him nowhere no more. What was he gonna do? If what you're talking about, Willis wasn't a part of it. So, I mean, how many roles are there for vertically challenged actors? In truth. Okay, let's see. Somebody said something to me here. Amen. Thank you for touching and agreeing, Sister Queen Lee Hebrewess. Gary did commercials for check cashing scams or something like that. Yeah, right. I mean, toward the end of his life, it was as if he was never the millionaire that he was. It's as if that never happened. Bob D says, find Benson and unplug him. Right on. Benson, right. Benson should have been, talk about the Get Out. Benson should have been bust out running like Get Out, right? Benson, I didn't like Benson then. I didn't understand it. But I understand. But see, there's a psychology behind Benson that we could talk about for an hour. So yeah, so maybe that's what we'll do next time around. We're not going to look at different strokes after this show. How about that? Unless we really find reason to. Okay. But yeah, we need to look at some more shows, right? Now that we have eyes to see and ears to hear, we may find all sorts of interesting things. Okay. I remember the music. It was bedtime when that came on. Okay. That's how I remember the Taxi music. It was bedtime when that came on. Taxi? That Bob James? All right. So now, let's move on. So now, he puts on his hat. He's talking about my people this, my people this. Dad, I can't believe you're going to do my people like that. Right? And he's complaining. He's really standing up for the chief. Willis is too. Willis's blackness kept, his militants kept burping throughout this season 4. And Willis is with it too. Yeah, Dad. Chief Longwalker's no quitter. He's not gonna quit. That's what happened. Chief Longwalker, thank you, Lord. He brought it back to my mind. Chief Longwalker decides he's going to go on a hunger strike. This is how come we couldn't see this tonight. So, Chief Longwalker says he's going to go on a hunger strike in order to keep Mr. Drummond from building on top of his family burial ground. So the boys say, we're going to join Chief Longwalker. And they do. They begin a hunger strike. Hold on. Y'all going to love this. I want to play it so bad. Okay, but let me paraphrase it. So, while I try to hurry up and type it in. The boys are on the hunger strike too. They say we're gonna join with Chief Longwalker, and we're gonna go on strike too. Well, boys, if that's what you think you should do, whatever. But now let me show you here, because I want you to say it. I don't want to say it, because if I say it, it sounds like I'm leading the witness. If I show it, you'll say it. But see, I don't think I'm gonna be able to show it, so I may have to say it. Wait a minute, can we even get these little pictures here? Maybe even. Okay, hold on. Where there's a will, there's a way. Okay, so, all right, here's the long walker. Okay, let me see. Okay, hold on. Okay, hold on. Let's see here. Okay, so they decide that they're going to hunger strike. The boys do. I wish it would just show me a picture even. It wouldn't even do that. But the boys decided they're going to hunger strike right in here. And so when they wake up the next day for the hunger strike, Mr. Drummond, Adelaide, and Kimberly are all talking amongst themselves while Arnold and Willis are upstairs. They haven't come down yet for breakfast. The show often starts with them eating, too. I thought that was unique, interesting, and something to it I've not put my finger on it yet. Yeah, actually eating, because, oftentimes on TV they don't actually eat. It's hard to say your lines with food in your mouth, but they actually eat. I thought that was unique. So anyway, the boys are still upstairs. I know, I'm way too much into this different strokes thing now. You shouldn't have got me started. I'm like that, Now I'm started. So the boys up there talking about their hunger strike, and Mr. Drummond, Adelaide, and Kimberly are down here talking about, well, I think it's dangerous that the boys are on a hunger strike. And, Mr. Drummond said, I think I know just how to break this hunger strike idea. Boys, come down. That's what he says. He tells the boys to come down. They standing there looking. I've got that picture just about. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. Hold on. I'm sorry. Sorry. Okay. Now. Okay. So, okay, you see? Okay, so there is where the boys finally come out their room. Right there. They're coming out the room. And they tempting the boys to get them to stop. It was weird the way it looked. It was like, okay, so y'all want to stand up for the rights of people and skip a meal. I mean, it's dangerous. Those boys could have died. They could have died by not eating. But Mr. Drummond, Adelaide, and Kimberly, you got to see the way it is. They are pushing it on them like, oh, Arnold, aren't you sure you want these pancakes? And then Adelaide comes and say, oh, Arnold, wouldn't you like a nice bit of syrup on it? And then it pours all of it. And while they're tempting these boys to break a hunger strike, which is not really a hunger strike, they're not really finna be for real with that. Boys might do that for a day, for a meal or something. But what it is it's breaking the idea of you standing up for this individual who is interfering with us getting this good money. Throw that to the side. Eat, be merry. I mean, that's what I saw in it. And it's supposed to be funny. The laugh track is going the whole time that they, oh, here, Arnold, have some pancakes. And they're serious. The thing that made me decide, okay, I need to show y'all this one, was how serious Arnold's little character is about it. Arnold's little character has really taken a liking to Chief Longwalker, fallen angel, with the all-seeing eye around his neck. But little Arnold has really taken a liking to him. So he really feels some type of way that his dad is just going to trample over his ancestry like this. So he really wanted to help. They thought all was lost. And when they heard that Longwalker was going to do a fast, hunger strike, they felt empowered again. Like, yes, our people. Willis even says something like that. Let me see. Willis says something like, Let me see. Mr. Drummond does something to stop the hunger strike that they doing or he doing or something. And Willis says something like, well, yeah, white man does it to the Indians again. And the laugh track comes on. Oh, I'm not joking. I'm not joking. So I saw the tone in the episode. Okay, I saw they was running game. So when you watch this episode, which is on YouTube, as you can see, it just won't play for you and me. You'll see the game. Let's see. Hold on. Maybe it'll play a little bit.
Once they get a whiff of this food, that hunger strike will be over fast. Arnold Willis!
What do you want, Dad?
I want you to come down and have your breakfast.
I told you we're not eating any food. Right, Arnold?
Right.
Well, I want you down here anyway. This family sits together at mealtimes.
How are you boys doing?
That blue. Peace, Lady Soul.
Great. Who needs any food?
Aren't you even a little bit hungry?
No way. We can go without food as long as we have to. Right, Arnold? Arnold, am I right?
Sure, Willis. About what?
Oh, those pancakes look terrific.
Oh, here you go, Dad.
Thanks, honey.
Oh, Dad, try some of these sausages. Oh, they smell so good they make your mouth water.
Please.
Gotta make them eat them. Please
Hey,
believe.
Arnold, would you pass me the maple syrup, please? Thanks. I bet these are going to be great. Daddy, these pancakes are delicious.
Scrumptious. The best Adelaide ever made. Fluffy.
You want a taste, Arnold?
Don't eat it, Arnold. You want to see a gag in your mouth?
Yeah, and put a little jam on it.
Look, I sympathize with your feelings, fellas, but my hands are tied.
Look, if there was anything Dad could do, he would do it. Wouldn't you?
Kimberly, don't you desert me.
Check it out.
Excuse me. Eat up, boys. Morning, Phil. Morning, Cliff. Sorry to barge in on you like this. No problem. What's up?
Amen, Kegakon.
Have a seat.
That's my point. They should be supporting the boys for standing up for their
Lone
beliefs.
Walker wasn't satisfied with just a hunger strike. He and his tribe have set up a blockade.
What do you mean? Where?
Across the main road to the construction site. It's marchers, picket signs, the whole thing. Your
Right on,
crews
Brother
haven't
John.
been able to get any equipment or supplies in. Some of the Indians are lying down on the ground in front of your bulldozers.
All right. Way to go, Chief.
Right on, Chief. Well, Dad, it does show the Chief's got a lot of character.
What do we do now? It sounds as if he's got us stopped cold.
Not for long. I need your signature on this complaint. We
Amen.
can force Lone Walker and his people out of there in no time.
What do you mean, force them?
He means they'll get beaten up and tear gassed. And if that's not enough, then they'll get rough.
Dad, does there really have to be any violence?
Well, not if I can help it. Cliff, there's got to be a better way.
Do I have to remind you, Phil, that we both have... got a lot at stake in this project. Now, this is no time to get squeamish.
Okay.
I'm not getting squeamish.
Right. Dad hasn't got a scream in him.
Okay, now, hold on. Now. Okay, so now. You saw that? Okay, so you see some programming action here. Okay, now hold on. Hold tight. You ready? I'm going to show you what I was trying not to show you. Remember? Ready? You didn't see this. When Arnold and Willis walked out the room, when Mr. Drummond called them down, boys, come down and get something to eat. They walked right past the painting. I zeroed in on it. Somebody, now hold it. I'm gonna get up and walk away. Who is that? Somebody remember? In this episode, who is that? We saw him last week, everybody. It's the exact same person. This is Heinrich Drummond. On the wall, in the episode about doing the Native Americans bold business, right? We first learned about Uncle Heinrich when it came to the Drummond having a history of doing African American, quote unquote, African Americans bad business. Some people know there's a relationship there that's not often spoken of. I believe some of those people worked on this show. Okay? What a coincidence. Now, this is not in other shows. I just showed you it's a woman up there on another show. I just showed you that. But Van Drummond is up there on this show. It's important that subliminal be there when the boys are walking past. Tell me that's not him. That's him. Come on. It's the same guy. It's not he looks like it. I can watch more Diff'rent Strokes than most folks. Okay? I've been watching too much Diff'rent Strokes. Believe me. That's him. So now, what's the correlation? This one isn't about the Drummond ancestry. But you see the correlation. Without even speaking the correlation. You see the correlation? First of all, this show that we're watching here, this show is a season after the Ancestors show that we watched last week, brothers and sisters. This is to show you. This is a thumbing of the nose. This is to show you. This is a raspberry in your face type of deal. This is to say, oh. So, yeah, we solved the problem in 30 minutes or less on the Ancestors episode. But did you really think this man was going to turn his back on his rich ancestor? Who helped make a way for him to have all of this power? You fools. And we're going to show you how foolish you are. He's still there. Just for this episode, though. Just for this episode, we got to remind you that we're trying to blind you. So we told you in one episode, they turned their back on Uncle Heine. They didn't want nothing to do with him. The season before this one. So if a person is following the show and watching this during a time where folks is not recording shows off TV, not no show like this, nobody would have noticed or remembered. You'd have watched this show this week when this came on and been looking forward to the next show, the next week. You would not have related this to the season beforehand. But now that they're trying to make some money and they can sell you a whole bunch of seasons at one time, right? The snake eating its tail. I can sit up and I can watch them back to back to back to back to back, right? I can even watch one season and then turn around and watch the season right behind it. And I can make comparisons that I was not able to make before or that the viewer was unable to make before. Because of technology, the snake eating its tail. Ouroboros. There he is, old Heinrich. Now that's the head cracker. That's the head cracker. We can do something else. Not far as I'm concerned. Hey, this has got to be. Come on now. This is Heinrich Drummond, the one that we found as a slave trader. Why do we know? Because it's the same picture. It's the same picture. You can say, well, okay, here's a naysayer, assuming that they're going to say something I've not thought of because they're angry I said something they didn't think of. A naysayer will say, because I'm not supposed to think of nothing you can't think of, right? How could I do that? A naysayer would say, well, Conrad Bain posed for the photograph in both ones. But this is supposed to be another ancestor. Prove it. Why cause that sort of confusion then? If that's the case. Draw some other random individual. Well, no, we want you to know that it's an ancestor of Mr. Drummond. Well, you would imagine that whatever picture of this style in a man's house would be of one of his relatives. It would be odd for you to have someone unrelated to you in that sort of portrait. So again, you would not have to make him look like Conrad Bain for us to say that that's a picture of a relative. They wanted you to subconsciously pick up on who the relative was in the midst of this show. Okay? Prince Sex say one tribe. Spiritual warrior say damn. San Pablo. Gyra A says very creepy. San Pablo says I agree, very interesting. Nikisha Moore says amen. Spiritual warrior says that whole show had Masonic all over it. Charlotte M. Okay. Doubting it, right? Doubting that this is just incidentally another relative, right? Shaw Means gives a clap, say great live tonight. All praise to do. Thank you, Shaw Means, for that recognition. Kai Brown said, yep. Your nephew Ronell said he was paying homage. Right on. He was paying homage to his ancestor. And in this episode, it's necessary to get a shot like this. They could have had a tight shot that did not include this portion. They could have did that. They didn't want that. They could have waited until we saw the boys coming down the steps and not got this part of the shot at all. They didn't want that. They wanted you to see his Heinrich. And further to my point, let me show you. It's not always Heinrich up there. Let me see here. I just couldn't believe it. When I first saw it, I couldn't believe it. And I was not watching that episode for that. How about that? I was watching the episode just to say, well, nah, I know Mr. Drummond wasn't doing the Native Americans right neither. So let me show people that. So I went back and watched the episode. I had to remember, let's see, which one is the one with the Native Americans again? I rewatched it and saw this. Oh, can you imagine my glee? Nail in the coffin for me. Okay, this is, oh, okay. I was looking at the paintings back there and back there. But let's look at this. This is better, easier. This was the busing episode when Arnold comes off the bus there with the goalie mask on, or with the catcher's mask on, excuse me. In the busing episode, which again, it's a very big deal at the time. Why? Because you had parents that was affluent blacks who were quite interested in busing their child away from the neighborhood and, to a school that was perceived as being better. Certainly. And then there were other parents like my mother. My mother's thing was, no, I want you to be in the neighborhood. I want you to know the people in your neighborhood. I want you to know your community. So she always sent me to the neighborhood school. Always. I walked to school from kindergarten to 12th through the 12th grade. So now at this time, you had red and blue. She's in the red, he's in the blue. The duality play is heavy here, okay? But these are two concerned black parents. I don't think we'll see them again in the show. Both of them are boule actor and actresses. I can recognize her. I've seen her before. I've seen him before too. I believe this is the man. I believe he was on Sanford, son. What I remember him from. But anyhow, they too are sitting there, come on, right on, drinking from a blue lined teacup, right on the bottom, blue on the top, and right because the way it's showing up here, it looks totally blue. But the bottom line being we have the red and blue, which is strange, flower arrangement, I think. But we got the red and blue flowers in the background. Again, every shot means a lot. The way he's sitting, every shot means a lot. The red and blue, the two opposite polarities. And whereas normally it would be said that the hot one or the aggressive color is red, would go with the man, and that the cool one or the calm one, the one like water, would go with the woman. Some say. So here we see the whole switch up. Right. And then you put the two together. Thank you, Christy Joy. Right. You put the two colors together and royalty. That's their idea. Baphomet, their royalty. A star. Everyone is a star. From the Crowleyan philosophy, royalty. You mix your male tendencies with your female tendencies equally. Your royalty in their world. I couldn't resist that picture. I had to take that. Okay, now, here's further evidence that they planted Uncle Heinrich there for some games. Because here goes another dude. Here goes a whole other guy. In the same spot. What season is this? This is Busing. If Busing is on season 4, I believe this is the same season, y'all. Hold on. The burial ground and the bus. I'm almost sure. I'm reading. Do I see the bus on here? Okay. I don't see the bus on season 4. It must be season 3. Model the team. Okay, no. Okay, so burial ground is, like I said, burial ground is season 4, and the bus must be season 3. That guy looks like a famous painter. Yes, okay. The bus is season 3. Porthole portraits, right? That's what they're called. Thank you, Granny Nanny White. That guy reminds me of a famous painter. Like, I believe that is someone. Like, that would be like a. Oh my gosh, I can't. His name escapes me, but I'm almost sure this is someone. Let's see, where do I have him at? I wanted to see what was in the case behind Kimberly and everything. There was no name on there. Excuse me. Didn't have a name on there, but he looked like a famous figure from history to me. But here we see again, red and the green. Okay, the opposite ends of the spectrum. Okay, so I believe that we looked at everything good enough. Okay, yeah, I zoomed in on the pictures and everything. I went down through there for y'all. Okay, right. Okay, that's the statues. The picture. All right, here inside the home. Now I want you to know. You see a slight blurring here in this picture. It's not because I was moving as I was taking the picture. It's because the camera was moving on the show. This picture is from a pan. I have to show you this pan too. Hold on. Okay, right in here somewhere. Doggone it. This thing ain't all it's cracked up to be. Okay. Right here. Okay. All right. The cameras, Mr. Drummond is at the door, letting in people about the busing situation. All the parents are coming over to his home, of course. All the parents are meeting at the Drummonds to discuss the busing situation because kids are getting bullied because the community that they're being bused to has decided to rise up and protest against the busing coming out there. And that was happening at the time, okay? So Drummond opens up the door. And as he's opening the door, talking to whoever's coming in, The cameraman pans from the doorway, which you know the doorway would be over here. The cameraman pans quickly from over here to up the stairs where Kimberly, Arnold, and Willis are standing up there eavesdropping. So it's a quick motion here, but I had to catch this here. This scene. They had to work this out in camera blocking too. Because you got red by that pillar. So again, you see the two pillars here? This leads into that room there is the library room. But these two pillars will take you to the balcony, my understanding. But now, I thought of it like this. You come through the two pillars and up the stairway, right? You come through the two pillars, meaning you come past the two pillars or you accept the duality play. Okay, so you go through the two pillars, meaning that you accept the duality play. And by doing so, by accepting both male and female as your way, accepting both red and blue as your way, you are now ascending up the stairway to heaven. As you're passing by these little statues, these possessed statues of children standing up under the feminine standing up under a representation of a woman's sexual reproductive parts. And the babies are up under there. It's a sex symbol. The pillars themselves are sex symbols. Okay. As obelisks, as Greek obelisks. Okay. And again, you pass through them, you go up the stairway, and then you go into the room. We're in the room, and you know why? If there's nothing really going on the show, why have the banners above the bed like that? You know, again, you know, the boys' banners be all over the room, right? You know, but I maintain they're going up the stairway to heaven. To them is ascension to godhood. And to them, per the Crowleyan way, one of the ways one can ascend to that godhood level is by tearing the veil. And then, because Crowley understood what a lot of folks don't understand. You don't have any powers. You can only get a spirit that has powers to work for you. That's it. You have no powers. So Crowley knew this, although other people did not. So Crowley's prescription was to tear the veil in the most vile ways possible. And then you will receive greater power. And this is how you receive that godlike status that you want, that will truly make you a star in this world where the devil is the prince. And that's what it is. That's what it is. That's what it is. Okay? So, great comments here. I'm just going to go through some of the comments now because I believe we put that to bed for the night. Maybe I'll come back and jab at it a couple more times. But at 3 hours and 7 minutes in, I think that we've done this. We've done this a good service. Now, let me see if there's any side notes here, because I jotted down a couple of things I haven't looked at the whole time I've been talking to y'all. Let me see, I wrote down, okay, in the squatter, Gary wears a rainbow shirt. Arnold, on one condition, if you go to jail, the ancestors very well. Okay. Oh, I think I did have another scene here I was going to show you, maybe. I recorded it, might as well show it, I guess. Okay. That's the case behind them. I couldn't tell what is in this case behind her as she walks out, but it's some sort of display case, and I just thought that was interesting. Something in my spirit said that whatever they put in here were cursed objects, and I was thinking that was a Horus, an owl, or a set or something. Couldn't really see, even when I zoomed in on it. Has a bird-like type of shape, an odd shape. But anyway, I want to know what that was in that case and who that guy is up over them. So yeah, so this was, so that was season 3, right? No, excuse me, that was season 4, Burial Ground, right? Burial Ground is season 4, right? So they wanted to be sure and bring back old Heinrich. And look at how he's looking. He got a stern look too. Don't let one of them get away. Okay. All right. And I think there was maybe one more thing. Okay, we talked about the blue and gold. We talked about the numbers. The number 80. Again, we talked about the zero, the nothingness, the emptying of oneself, the thing that Jim Carrey is being used to promote among people today who don't need any help in doing that, if you ask me. But then you have the 8 for Saturn. People always say the Saturn. The bottom line is it has to do with forever and infinity and their desire for eternal life, their desire to be like their father, the father of lies or flies, whichever you prefer, to be like the adversary, and they want to reign forever and be like the Most High. Okay, there we had him in his. This is him in his robe in forget what episode that is. There you see Grambling. Grambling was up there. The one black school that I saw up there was Grambling, and I think I neglected to finish my thought when I was talking about McLean Stevenson when I saw Northwestern up there. The reason I focused on Northwestern was at the time it wasn't nothing but Harvard up there. Then Northwestern joined it. And Northwestern is where McLean Stevenson went to school. And that was Conrad Bain's homeboy. That Conrad Bain was using his show to boost McLean's show. McLean's show was really just a vehicle for those girls that we named earlier, right? The ones that were in the Disney movie, Witch Mountain, and the other one. Right? So, yep. All right. And Northwestern may not be Ivy League. All of these weren't Ivy League. Grambling's not Ivy League. But I think that what we were looking at was the schools that represented the main abusers. And why the schools? Because, again, this is an organized thing. It's organized. You have groups of Crowleyites. They need access to young boys, impressionable boys, and they need it wherever they can get it. In Hollywood, unfortunately, you heard Corey Feldman tell that, which I believe that. I believed him, and I still believe him to a degree, except I know what he's doing. He's part of the Purge. The Purge has a lot of uses. The Purge in Hollywood, it's out with the old and with the new. It's time for my son to get on now too. It's ladies, we'll fix it all. We're gonna make Hollywood a much more friendly place, and we're gonna remove this old attitude, this pervasive attitude of misogyny in Hollywood, and we're going to make sure that that the men here, as a matter of fact, you're going to see more and more gay men taking positions of power, and there will be a lack of comfort that society will be made to feel uncomfortable around manly men. Society will be made to feel uncomfortable around masculine men. It's why it's so rare that you hear a masculine sounding male singer. The plan has been in effect for a long time. going back to Margaret Sanger. Even before then, the devil from the very beginning, when he encountered Adam and Eve, he wanted to be sure to take away Adam's masculinity and Eve's femininity. It's what causes one to be attracted to the other and for them to procreate. So it's a very important a deal and a bottom line deal that the adversary does not want procreation. So he creates all sorts of systems and puts all sorts of things in place. Layers upon layers of ideas and things in place and diversions in place in order to keep people from seeing the simple things. The simple things. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways. God is not the author of confusion. You know, all of the scriptures that point to a man should not do what a woman do, and a woman should not do what a man do. And as long as all of that stay in order, everything stay to its kind. We laugh when it says, well, don't blend cotton with, don't blend, basically saying don't blend animal and plant. Don't put everything together. Everything not supposed to go together. Some things are, some things not. So, this show was part of one of the many programs being used to forcibly push everything together, to homogenize everything, to strip away the old ideals. In a nutshell, Sanford and Son is about that. Lamont got all the new ideals. Him and Rollo. Yeah, his ace boom, Rollo. They know about what's happening now. And they always think they got a better idea than Fred. Why do you do that? That's Hegelian dialectic. That is a way to pit the old versus the new, to smush them both together, really to cross them both out and bring in the amalgamation, bring in the combination, bring in what it is you really want to bring in the first place. It may only have certain aspects of the old, and it may not even appear to be new at all. But at the bottom line, at the end of the day, that's what they were trying to do. It's the way to construct a one world order. You have to get everybody on the same page about certain things. The 60s and the 70s was a ploy to get people hooked on a false sense of freedom and liberty. There was only a sense of bondage that could be exploited in the 80s, 90s, and beyond. They knew that. The adversary, the fallen angels, always conduct preemptive psychological operations. They poisoned you against the Messiah before he was made manifest in the flesh. In the Gospels. How did they do that? They gave you these prototypes, or they gave you these sloppy copies, these false versions, ahead of time. To where historians or people that trust in what historians or academics and scholars say, they are sold on the fact that, lots of things in the scriptures cannot be so, because they see what's in the scriptures. They see a version like that or stories that are similar in writings we're told are older. It's all part of the overplay for the underlay. At the end of the day. Okay? So, I thank everybody who hung in there with us tonight. And no, I don't see any notes. I thought I had some more notes here. And I'm gonna close out by reading through folks' comments here. Yeah, I did forget a lot of stuff that I didn't write down. Okay. All right, just show this. Okay, I said show. Okay, I wanted to show some interviews with Gary, but I don't think that's necessary. But if I would suggest one, would be the Arsenio interview. I believe there's two. There's one interview where it's just Arsenio and Gary, and then there's another interview where it's. Oh, this is when Sinbad was hosting, I think, Vibe TV. And it's Gary, Dana, and Todd all together. That's on YouTube. Okay, I corrected about roots, ancestors. Okay. Oh, the who is okay. Who is the they? And they'll have theirs, you'll have yours, and I'll have mine. Right? Who is the they? To be clear, okay, this is talking about me and you. We're having a conversation about they. Who is the they? So again, it's further evidence to me that that was a New World Order anthem. They'll have theirs. The government will have theirs, and they're going to divvy out yours to you and mine to me. Okay. Okay, let's see. Would you be allowed to take a child through brotherhood rituals without parental permission? Okay, so that was okay, right. I wanted to raise the question about Todd's mom, who, although she rushed Todd's publicist, as I told you last time, she rushed at Todd's publicist who had been molesting him with a butcher knife. Perhaps after she rushed him, they had a talk, they had a conversation, they came to an understanding. Because right afterward, Todd is on different strokes. Okay. I said to recap the Isis, Osiris, Horus reflection on the different stroke kids. I did that. Recap the Hermes, Gemini, Janus connection for season 6, episode 6, which we did not get to watch, but I did verbally do that. Then play season 6, episode 6. Okay. Remind of Todd being a Gemini and Gary being Aquarius. Oh, let me do that. The Aquemini. Gary was the Aquarius, amplifying the Gemini. Remind of Todd Gemini and Gary's amplification of Gemini as Aquarius. New Age amplifies duality. Thank you, Father. The Aquarian Age is often a term that they will replace, or they they'll switch. They'll switch for New Age. Excuse me. Aquarian, fluid, in this age of fluidity and flexible, right? But water amplifies. Water takes the shape of what it's in. And again, interestingly enough, Aquarius they call an air sign. No wonder folks that get all off into horoscopes are so weird and confused, right? Aquarius is an air sign, not a water sign. And Taurus, a bull, it's a male cow, is a female sign, not a male sign. That's why you can't deal with none of that, like I keep trying to tell you. Now, there is duality in each sign. Every sign of the zodiac contains duality. If your sign has horns, the duality is the two horns. Each horn represents. Look it up. You don't know enough about it. Every sign. For the Cancer, the crab, look at the duality symbol of that. Sometimes the sign look like a 69 for Cancer. You go all through them. I can find each one for you. Okay? But you can find it for yourself today. But so it was Gary's star that made us even remember who Todd Bridges is today. What have Todd Bridges done since Diff'rent Strokes? And he's still out here. Right? They let him crack some jokes on TMZ or E-Hollywood if they're talking about molestation of children in Hollywood, blah, blah, blah. He never came out and said exactly what happened on the set or nothing about anything behind the scenes. I believe there's probably a gag order of some kind that the parents had to sign. Once you let your child off into this environment, I would imagine it would have to be that way for Disney parents, for the parents who allow for their children to be, on set at Disney. Okay, and I think that's it. Yeah, and the very last thing I said. Okay, there's duality in each sign, so it is all. Okay, there's duality in each sign, so each sign is all really one entity, one double-minded entity. One schizophrenic entity, if you will. All the personalities of the zodiac rolled into one entity is the adversary. Okay. And of course, we talked about how they take a serious or even risque or taboo demonic subject and they add a laugh track, or in this case, they cut on the applause sign for the studio audience. And that helps to get an idea past your subconscious mind or past your filters because you're hearing the laugh track. Right? And you know, the dopamine is rushing to your brain and, you know, laughter. And so you're tricked into feeling good about something that normally perhaps you would have cause to pause concerning. Right? Double think, duality, double-minded man, and the Hegelian dialectic, all rolled into one. So I think with that I'm about done. So let's see. Right, Sister Bella says, yeah, past your critical thinking. Right on. Big Nephew Ronell said this part 2 was a 10-count knockout. Really? Right on. Sister Julie said, for nothing is secret that shall not be made manifest, neither anything here that shall not be known and come to light. Luke 8:17. Right on. Queenly Hebrew says double-tongued snakes. Right on. Shatra Pollard said they have to be quiet to get those checks from the slave masters. Hey, right on. Gotta say it. Big Nephew Ronell said, imagine shows without laugh tracks. You couldn't. They would be corny. And it would be so obviously trying to persuade you to have a particular opinion. Could you imagine that? Now, maybe Sanford Son could survive. Because Red Fox is just a G. He's good at what he do. But I got it on Red Fox too. I got Red Fox doing a stand-up. It made me want to sit down. Very blasphemous. Very blasphemous. And you're all quite welcome. LB says, Brother Theo, thank you. Always a good and informative time together with you and the fam. Thank you for joining in, and I'm glad you enjoyed this heavyweight jam. Julie Vito says, thank you, Theo. Thank you, Sister Julie. I'm glad that you could join in. And we're still praying for your kids. Keep Sister Julie's classes in your prayers. She's a teacher of the children. And she needs many of them as you can send. Charmaine says, Theo, thank you, appreciate it. Well, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Christy Joyce says they whore their children out. Right on. Kai Brown said, my brother used to get annoyed and say that I was only laughing when I heard the laugh track. Golden Girls and Cosby Show were my faves. So I was 4. Right on. Our card says, watch it without the sound. And they are slick with the hand signs back then too. Excellent. Very good. Yes, and see, we didn't even get off into... Well, I did point out Long Walker throwing up the rock. It's the rock, baby. Y'all fell for Jay-Z. All y'all did. Okay, let's see here. You're welcome. You're welcome. You're welcome, Brother Bob D. Shamin say, yes, got to do Red Fox. Kanga Kong say, talk about mind control, laugh tracks and applause signs. I've been confused as a child when I would hear the laugh, but it wasn't funny, but disturbing that they laughed. Punky Brewster, y'all. Maybe, because see, I ain't never seen a Punky Brewster. Okay? My baby sister wasn't even here then. Why? But I'm going to tell you, I read the premise of the show. I couldn't remember the premise of the show. I remember there was some funny dressing girl. And that Salil Moonfry later on in life had gigantomastia, which can result from having yourself stimulated at an early age or prematurely. And I for some reason that's what I thought about concerning her. But I never thought about the fact that she was a little runaway girl who stayed upstairs or downstairs or whatever from an old creepy man who was a photographer. So we might want to look at that. I ain't gonna spend too much time on that. We ain't gonna do that all night. But maybe we'll knock that one out real fast and then get off into something else. Or maybe we just look at several ones next time. Sister Bella says, thank you, Sister Bella. Sister Estelle says, I've always thought they were corny. I never found them funny. I used to think something was wrong with me. See, right on. James Smith says, I can't wait. They have to tell us who they are. Right on. That's right. But see, we have not because we ask not. Now we're asking. Now we're asking some questions, you know. I'm watching the show, asking questions like I never did before. Okay, Sister Eleanor. Thank you for joining, Sister Eleanor. Oh, okay. Queenly Hebrew says to please give the information for those who want to support. Again, in this one, it will be there. I haven't put it there yet. I guess I could do it while we're sitting here. Technically, I think, I don't know, but I like to wait until it's done processing just to be sure. But what folks can do who want to contact Brother Min Theo for questions or concerns, or who want to support what we do here, the information is available beneath last week's videos, both weird scenes from inside DS, part 1 from last week, and weird scenes from inside the rabbit hole from last week, and all videos that we've been doing in the live stream. I just went through all of them and made sure it was there. It's on the Janice and Marvin Gaye reading from last week. So if you look in the description portion, and there are people who don't know where the description portion is. I remember when I didn't, and I was waiting for somebody to tell me. But the description portion of a video, you find if you touch that there. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait a minute. No, I don't see one here. I don't even see one here. But yeah, but there's a description portion down in here. And when you push the little button, it'll open up and it'll show you the additional information up under the video. So yeah, that information is there, folks. And there's one email for contact and one email for support. Okay, for contact, brothermintheo@gmail.com. For support, a temple of the true Yahshua at yahoo.com. And again, like I said, both are spelled out. Both are spelled out in the description section. All right, peace to you, Kai Brown. Ruben Sanchez says, thank you all. I'm happy I was able to participate tonight. Me too. I'm happy you were able to too. Where you been? You been hiding? I know you wrote me. I haven't gotten to it yet, Brother Ruben. I'm gonna get to everybody's emails tomorrow. Okay? Arakad says the Rieger son fighting fires. I don't understand. Big Brother Brother Jay from Revolution News says Jesus bless you, Theo. Heavyweight jam. Thank you so much, my brother. I'm glad that you could attend. Kanka Khan said this part 2 made part 1 more vivid. Excellent teacher, Brother Theo. Thank you, Sister Kanka Khan. Ruben Sanchez said he never liked Jay-Z. Well, right on. But then you're right there with me. Nakisha said too. Okay. Well, 2 people didn't drink the Kool-Aid. I couldn't stand him. But I didn't drink the Tupac Kool-Aid, so I'm just different. Have y'all seen Tupac Hoax? The Tupac Hoax channel? Look up under the video. I'll post it. If you don't see nothing up under the description to this video, that means I just haven't done it yet. Check back in 5 minutes. I will. I'm going to do that ASAP. But if you look up under last week's Diff'rent Strokes video, I posted a link to the Tupac Hoax channel. Cold-blooded. Cold. All I can tell you is if you were interested in the subject of was he alive, was he dead, was he revolutionary, was he an agent, this is a must-see. You should check it out. They put together an excellent, superb presentation. Superb presentation. Some young brothers, too. And, I mean, the editing, A1, but where they go with it, just like you didn't expect me to go here, they're going to go places you don't expect for them to go. I'll just say that. So enjoy that. Enjoy that also. And tell them I sent you. Okay, now, Brother Jeffrey said, powerful. Thank you, brother. Spiritual warrior said, good stuff. Unplug them. Excellent congregation tonight. Happy holidays, Brother Theo. Same to you and bless you. Princess says, wow, wait until I share the connection between Alan Thicke and Felipe Wynn of the Spinners. Felipe Wynn? You've been tipping around the town, you and that fancy clown. Felipe Wynn? No. Well, Felipe Wynn was part of Parliament Funkadelic, and they were connected to the Process Church, so you won't really surprise me, to be for real. Okay. Right. It's called the Tupac Hoax Channel. He's buried in Detroit. Oh, yeah, that's right. He's from here, I believe. I forget there's so many of them. And I said I was going to go to the Motown Museum, too. I'm going to take some time off. I'm going to go to the Motown Museum sometime this week. Because they spent $50 million on it in 2016 to renovate it. There's always a whole bunch of tour buses and stuff out there now. Now I'm interested. Ain't that something? Ain't that just like us? Ain't that just like us? Some of y'all New Yorkers, you ain't never been to the Empire State Building. And you ain't never seen the One World building either. You ain't never been in there. So stop fronting. But I have been in the Motown Museum. I just don't remember. So yeah, we're going to do that. Shamin said, yes, they went in about pop. Yes, they did. They went in. I've never seen nobody that in depth with it. It's very in depth. Some of them you have to read. Except for one where they sampled a very good narrator. The guy's voice is golden. Whoever they did sample. But the rest of them, you got to read some things. But, I mean, they telling the story with clips. That's what I like. Show me some clips. I don't feel like reading. So, yeah, they do a great job showing you all the clips. And if you have a loved one who's suffering from Pacitis, meaning they think they 3 Pac, 4 Pac, 5, they need to see it. Show them. Finette Glau said, I checked out the Tupac hoax. It was amazing. There are chapters missing. Yeah, they are. And I don't blame them boys. Should be some chapters missing. That's gonna be on DVD somewhere. They really put that together good. They could really circulate that. They did a great job. Oh yeah, right. That's right. Felipe Wynn is from Cincinnati, or he's from around these parts. He's a Midwest guy. Kai Brown said, my husband is from the D and he'd never been. So we went there while we were there in July. Yeah. I mean, it looked like a house. You don't understand. And then on top of that, too, I keep trying to, that's my mama's music. I don't care nothing about Eddie Kendricks. No, Eddie Kendricks had some jams. But my mama's so about it. We went to his funeral, okay? One of them. We went to the funeral. Stood in a long line. I wasn't about 15 or something. So, see, I'm sure she's been a number of times. I don't know. Maybe she never been. It's like, it's like that. It's like that. Okay. That's it. Okay, folks is kicking it. Yep, it's called the Tupac hoax. Right, that's the name of the channel. Look how much they doing docs on Pop. Shaking my head, knowing he out here chilling. Well, if he out here, I wouldn't say he was chilling. But they built a great case. They built a great case. Kai Brown said it was like 6 houses they bought up. Yeah. But see, don't nobody never show you what's right next door to the Motown house. Y'all will call it a museum. It's a house. Look, a house. It's a house. But they bought they bought the one next to it or whatever. They linked the 2 houses together with a hallway, something like that. Okay, cool. But directly to the right of the house, if you're standing facing the Motown Museum, directly to the right is like the biggest funeral home in Detroit. Yeah. What a coincidence. Right next door. Right on. Moving Way said, have you viewed the Black Starlet movie? Somebody sent it to me. But no. Revelation News say, I just want to say, from a white man standpoint, I'm sorry for what our color did to your people, brother. We are one through Jesus. Love you, bro. Oh man, that's well. I appreciate you. I appreciate you having the humility to say so, but I don't. I don't require that. Um, I just know that as wrong as it is to be prejudiced or racist, it's also wrong to be like a something, asexual, a religious, a national. I mean, it's not necessary. We all should be able to talk about whatever. We all should be able to to express ourselves. However, you know, there are a lot of things that have not been healed. Lots of healing has not been done, and lots of conversations have not been had. And the only problem in this different strokes philosophy of this new world is when you push folks together without giving them a chance to get to know one another or to share their stories organically and to come together organically, then somebody's going to step on somebody's toes. And and that's what the adversary wants to happen. There's a difference between black and white, and it should it should always be expressed that it is, as long as it is, and it's beautiful, and it should be beautiful. There's no difference between um, Italian cooking and Asian cooking. I mean, this is where we're going. So again, but you can say you like both. But you can say, hey, I happen to be Italian. I like Chinese food. I like soul food. Hey, but I'm Italian, paisano. And that's all right. Should nobody fight about that? It's a new thing though that the world is going through, where because it's been swept up under the rug, and this whole premise of I don't see color. You a lie. We all do. You see it, but what do you see when you see it? Do you see something beautiful? Do you see something repulsive? Do you see something curious to you? Might just be curious. How does that hair feel? You can look at Arnold and Willis's little froze, like I'm sure some children did, some white kids that like Gary Coleman or like Diff'rent Strokes. I'm sure they looked at it and they wondered, how does it stand there like that? How does it feel? If you've never touched a black person's hair, it's normal for you to wonder that. How would you know? First time my cousin had got dreadlocks. The first person I knew up close and personal had dreadlocks where I could touch them. I never thought they was going to be soft. I thought they was going to feel like branches. And since then, I've had my own. So, folks got to be able to operate in the comfort of the Comforter, the Holy Spirit. I try to be comfortable. Sometimes I'm too comfortable, and I'm sorry, because when you're in this type of office, you're not supposed to have a certain level of comfort. You're not supposed to. That's what I've seen exhibited. So I'm very comfortable with y'all. So sometimes I get into my mode, and I feel like I'm talking with my family. All of you. I feel like I'm talking to all of you. I got some family from Detroit, some family not from Detroit. Okay? Some family is kind of proper. Some family is kind of ghetto. I love them all. I love them all. And that's how we should be. So, and yeah, you can step on people's toes. People can take things the wrong way and all of that. But guess what? That's a part of growth. That's a part of growth if we're going to grow. We have to be able to talk about things that we don't know. We have to be able to do that. And a big forum like this is not always an easy place to do it, because you're right, you have all sorts of different opinions. You don't want the spirit of offense to jump in the midst of you trying to do something to bring folks together, right? So that's why usually we come together under Christ. And when we come together under Christ, all that's out the door. Because what he said is what go. That's whoever does the will of my mother and my brother, that is his relative. Whoever does the will of his father is his mother and his brother. And so therefore, those who do his will, we come together willing, willing to do his will, and willing to operate out of his spirit of truth. And, as long as we continue to do that, then, it says, seek ye first the kingdom of God, and all other things shall be added unto you. And we're talking about one who is not a man that they should lie. So if you seek first the kingdom of God, all other things will be added unto you, including how to deal with and counsel all sorts of other people, how to view particular points of view that are different than you. And that takes time. But we all operate out of 1 Corinthians 13, and we can get there faster than we think. Okay? So let us touch and agree. And we're going to go ahead and say goodbye. I try, Sister Elaine. I try to make folks feel comfortable as if you was coming to my house. If you was coming to my house, you wouldn't want to leave. I know how to make, plus I'm on Dagobah. So I'll be lonesome. I want you to stay. I'll try to make you have a good time. So, that being said, we're going to go ahead. All right, we touch and agree. We call it done. We call this thing here done, and we touch and agree right now in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ the Son. Lord, we ask in the authority of the name of the Lord Jesus Christ the Son, and the power of his name, Father, Lord, our Savior, Lord and Savior, Christ of Nazareth. Father, we ask, Lord, in the power and authority of his name, that you would just loose and bind to all of us, Lord. Psalm 4 and 8, Proverbs 3 and 24, sweet sleep for all of those who are laying down to go to sleep to get ready for tomorrow. Lord, and please also loosen and bind to all of us, Lord, the seven spirits as told by the prophet Isaiah in Isaiah 11 and 2, the spirit of knowledge, wisdom, understanding, spirit of counsel, spirit of God's might, the spirit of the Lord, and spirit of the fear of the Lord, too. And Lord, we ask, finally, for the night, Father, that you would loose us from anything, Heavenly Father, that would keep us from being better servants for you. Loose us from anything, Lord, that may keep us from being better servants and representatives for you. And bind up those things and cast them out of us and cast them down to wherever Lord Jesus Christ says they belong, and there let them remain in everlasting unbreakable chains. And we touch and agree in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ the Son. And we call it done. Amen and amen. Amen. Okay, so we're going to finish this one up. This one is done. Kai Bronson unplugging. You going to sleep for real, or we coming back? Well, I felt myself getting sleepy and tongue-tied, but I'm coming back because I promised you. That's how I am. Peace and blessings. Moving weight. Revelation News. Xerxes. James Smith. Sister Ilona. LB. Christy Joy. Not Your Average White Girl. Bella. Kanga Kong. Yes. Jessica Hadley. Jonathan Gutierrez. Kai Brown. Vinay Glau, and Prince Sex. Good night to all of you loved ones. And Brother Ruben. And yeah, we're going to come right back and go down I guess y'all want to go, do y'all really want to go down a rabbit hole just on the random, or do we want to jump into, can we come back and do the reading of Rebecca Brown book, and then, inadvertently, we're going to end up going down a rabbit hole anyway. So I'll call it that anyway. Yeah, sure, certainly. Okay, so we'll mix it all up. We're gonna come back. Give me a slight. What is it? It's 12:50 a.m. Give me a slight break. 5 minutes. About the same as before. And this will be a brand new one, so you don't have to hang on. Okay, we can all hang up now. And then when I come back, we'll come back into a brand new one. Weird Scenes from Inside the Rabbit Hole, Part 2. Okay? So, y'all come on back now. You hear? Love you, brother. Love you, Brother Jay. Baby sis Jessica, love you. Prince Sex, thank you for joining in tonight. We need your insight. Okay, Spiritual Warrior, Kanka Kong. All right, peace. LB, Kai Brown. All right, in a minute. I try. All right, in a minute, y'all.